woman who has given birth to 5 children. The details coming up in our news, including an update on the drought situation in the country, where leaders from the Asal region are also calling for it to be announced a national disaster. And a sneak peek to what will be happening today in our diary is that the NCIC will be giving a report on the state of peace and cohesion in the country post the 2022 general election. So stay with us until the end of the program if you can. But Ram is with me in the studio. Good morning, Ram.
Good morning, Ravi. Of course, we are coming to you live from the Passing House here in Nairobi, Kenya. Remember, this is the 2nd of February 2023. My name is Ram Maguko. It's a pleasure being with you on this fine Thursday morning. And as Marie has said, we have a lot in store for you today in our program. Remember, we are going to be heading over to Safari Park Hotel, where we expect to have an event that is taking place known as the National Cancer Summit that is expected to take place today. Our colleagues are also at that particular location. Doreen Narange and Victor Olo are on standby. We shall be heading over there in a bit. But it is Entertainment Thursday. We have a lot in store for you in terms of our music. A lot of good music coming up your way. Fantastic artists are being brought your way today. We shall talk about matters concerning the gospel industry in not too long. Ensure that you engage with us. The hashtag, as always, is Good Morning Kenya. My handle is at Ram Maguko, which is my handle, and the official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. But before all this, I hand you over to Marie on the other side, and let's take a look at what is making headlines.
Indeed, thank you, Ram. Now, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, will be gracing the... Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will now receive back his 200 million shillings he had forfeited to the state. This is after the Asset Recovery Agencies agreed to a move by the Directorate of Public Prosecution to withdraw the graft case against Gachagua and 3 others that had compelled him to forfeit the money to the state. Let's get the details of that story.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will receive back his 200 million shillings that he had forfeited to the state in an alleged corruption case. Gachagua won the battle to reclaim his money after a 3-judge bench of the Court of Appeal consisting of Justice Daniel Musinga, Emmanuel Leibuta and Ngenye Macharia allowed a consent signed by lawyers of both sides, settling the forfeiture of 200 million shillings belonging to Rigathi Gachagua. Gachagua had surrendered the money to the state in 2022 to the Asset Recovery Agency after High Court Judge Esther Maina ruled that he had failed to explain how he acquired the wealth from government agencies, prompting him to file an appeal. The money was forfeited to the state by the Deputy President, who was then Madeira Member of Parliament in an alleged case of money laundering that also involved Ankimemia Jane Enterprises Limited. The Asset Recovery Agency says it relied on investigations and conclusions by the DCI and proceeded to confiscate the funds in dispute. On the 9th of November 2022, the agency learned that the case was being withdrawn by the DPP through the media on the basis that investigations had not been exhausted and there was no enough evidence to sustain the criminal trial. The agency says it has since established that the money was not proceeds of crime as was initially perceived.
Well, the Council of Governors wants an urgent solution regarding the current stalemate threatening the disbursement of funds to counties. Council of Governors Vice Chairperson Ahmed Abdullahi said a consultative meeting to deliberate on the annual division of revenue between the Council of Governors and the National Treasury failed to resolve the dispute over the allocation of funds to counties. This even as Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua chaired an extraordinary intergovernmental budget and Economic Council, IBEC, in an attempt to resolve the dispute over the allocation of funds to counties.
The battle over the allocation of funds to the devolved units for the financial year 2023-2024 continues to deepen after a special team formed to unlock the deadlock failed to arrive at a solution.
We express our discontent for the National Treasury's failure to build consensus on the county equitable share of revenue despite the objective recommendations made by the CRA.
A closed-door meeting between the Council of Governors, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndung'u and Commission on Revenue Allocation CRA will end in a deadlock on Wednesday as both parties maintain a hardline position.
The National Treasury has not formed a basis for deviating from the recommendations by the CRA. As such, the Council hereby reiterates its position of Kenya shillings 425 billion as the county equitable share of revenue for the financial year 2023-2024.
The bone of contention being a budget policy statement released by the Treasury allocating counties 380 billion shillings for the financial year 2023-2024. Although this is an increase of 10 billion shillings as compared to the previous financial year, the county chiefs are demanding 425 billion shillings. The Commission on Revenue Allocation has however said it is willing to allocate 407 billion shillings to the devolved units.
The Council is apprehensive that the continued allocation of funds christened for devolution or for devolved functions to national government MDS is an affront to devolution, and that the Council will not relent in the quest to make devolution work.
In an attempt to resolve the dispute over the allocation of funds to counties, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Wednesday chaired an extraordinary intergovernmental budget and economic council IBEC. The governors are expected to have a 2-day retreat with President William Ruto this month, where the issue on allocation of funds to the devolved units is expected to come up.
The Senate and the National Assembly have locked horns over the Constituency Development Fund and Senate Counties Oversight Fund. Senators have threatened to reject the entrenchment of the National Government Constituency Development Fund in the Constitution if the National Assembly counterparts do not increase the allocations for County Oversight Fund.
A storm is brewing between the National Assembly and the Senate over the kitties legislators from the respective houses are expected to administer.
This I speak with authority because we have consulted widely and deeply. Is the CDF is here to stay.
These sentiments by National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula did not go down well with their colleagues at the Senate.
It's extremely worrying when you're trying to repair relations. Then you have people as high as the leadership of a particular house speak towards the Senate in such vilifying tones and as if there's anything. There's nothing that we are begging from the National Assembly.
They say the National Assembly allocation of 600,000 as County Oversight Fund is good enough for only a constituency.
Kama kila constituency inapewa 600 na mimi mwenye niko na county ambayo iko na 12 constituencies, we multiply by 12 so that I'm able to reach all the constituencies equally.
The angry senators say it is either more funds for oversight in counties or their colleagues at the National Assembly also lose their clout in the administration of constituency development funds.
We need the oversight fund, but we can do without it. National Assembly, I doubt if they can survive without CDF. Some of the remarks that their leaders continue to make, I hope they have read the law well and understand that for them to have CDF, it has to pass through this House of the Senate.
What we should be talking about, sisi kama senators and them as members of parliament, ni vile tunaweza empower the constituency and the county officers to be more efficient. We do not have to be given any money for development.
We need not touch the constitution as you are being invited by the National Assembly. That is the most dangerous path, and we are going to abandon that. We can still operationalize that without necessarily even adding a comma or removing a full stop to the constitution.
But speaking in Mombasa while presiding over the post-election seminar, Senate Speaker Amason Kingi struck a conciliatory note in resolving the tussle.
We are better off not making it a public issue. The better ways of making sure it's on board, and once we resume, we will be having a sitting with the ad hoc committee.
Juni Karisambele from Mombasa County.
Well, a look at matters graft now, where 4 officials of Rift Valley Water Services Board and 2 officials of Lake Victoria North Water Services Board will spend the night in police custody ahead of the arraignment in court to answer to corruption charges. The 6 were arrested by the EACC over irregular awarding of 600 million shillings tender for the construction of Malaba Water and Sanitation Project. Gichuki Washira now reports.
The 6 suspects of alleged corruption include Rachel Nafula, the program coordinator, Kenya Town Sustainable Water Supply and Sanitation at Rift Valley Water Services Board, Agnes Jerop, the program accountant at Rift Valley Water Services Board, Engineer Patros Sempeyan, the program engineer at Rift Valley Water Services Board, David Keegan, procurement assistant at Rift Valley Services Board, Isaac Kiptanui, the former water provision officer at Lake Victoria North Water Services Board, and Jared Ouma, the infrastructure development officer at Lake Victoria North Water Services Board. The suspects are on the spot of award of 600 million shillings tender for construction works for Malaba Water and Sanitation Project to Maktebak Contractors Limited, a company that lacked qualifications and capacity to deliver. The director of the company, Joram Opala Otieno, has been directed to present himself to EACC Bungoma office.
Well, a 25-year-old woman at Nakuru Level 5 hospital has delivered 5 babies, the highest multiple birth ever in the history of the facility. Margaret Wairimu, a first-time mother, welcomed her bundles of joy through a cesarean section. Dr. Aisha Maina, the medical superintendent at the hospital, said that the mother was received at the facility on January the 27th and was placed under observation until the 31st when she progressed to labor and safely delivered the quintuplets.
25-year-old Margaret Wairimu, at the 25th week of her pregnancy, arrived at the Nakuru Level 5 hospital for a normal checkup, during which it was established she was at risk and was admitted. Dr. Aisha Maina, the medical superintendent at the hospital, said that the decision was informed by the presentation of the babies, which placed the life of the mother on the line.
So far, because of the gestation period of 25 weeks, we know that the babies were of very low weight and were immature, especially the organs. Therefore, we have proceeded to have the babies in our specialized newborn unit, whereby management is ongoing.
On January 31st, she progressed to labor and safely delivered quintuplets, 4 girls and a boy.
We went ahead, took her to theatre, and we successfully delivered 5 children, that is quintuplets. 4 of them were female and 1 male.
Dr. Maina said that the babies were of very low birth weight with immature organs and were placed under a specialized newborn unit and are in stable condition.
But here we are doing our best to ensure that we give the best quality of services so that we maximize on their chances of survival.
Dr. James Wawero, an obstetrician in charge of the maternity unit at the hospital, said that the multiple births chances of survival are low due to low birth weight.
They tend to be delivered before the due date, and that increases the risk of prematurity and also the risk of poor development in the early stages.
Samuel Ndongo, the father to the children who works as a matatu driver, said that he received the news while he was on a trip to ferry passengers to Nairobi. The 28-year-old man from Bahati, Nakuru, explained that they were planning for their second child, and earlier revelation from her routine checkups that she was to deliver triplets came as a surprise to them.
Namshukuru Mungu kwa kunipea hii chance, kwa kwa sababu ni wengi sana wanatafuta watoto usiku na mchana, wengine wanaiba, wengine wanaenda kwa wachawi, lakini mimi nimepewa na Mungu bure.
We always know mtoto huwa tuna expect sana mtoto mmoja. Kumaanisha tukiangalia sana genuinely, huyu kijana ni kama alikuwa ana expect watoto wakiwa wengi ni wawili ama mmoja.
Ningeomba well wishers ama serikali ya county tushikamane, at least mzigo isikuwe kubwa.
As the mother recovered at the facility, her husband's colleagues, the matatu drivers, visited them at the facility in solidarity and pledging to help the family cater for some of the needs of the children. Joshua Kamau, one of the drivers, said that Ndongo had received a lot of praise among his colleagues for his support and commitment towards the family despite their young age.
We wish the mother and babies good health and definitely the best for the family. Now, more than 36.1 million people within the IGAD region are currently facing heightened levels of food insecurity. This is 10% of the population, with more than 2 million internally displaced and 40,000 having sought asylum from hunger in neighboring countries in 2022. The statistics were made public during the State of the Region address by IGAD Executive Secretary, that is Dr. Wokne Gebeyehu, who said that the region has seen progressive interventions in addressing conflict issues within the region. The severe drought situation is still a cause for concern. Dr. Wokne says IGAD will adopt proactive initiatives in 2023 to help member states reduce impact of calamities.
As representatives from the Intergovernmental Authority and Development member states meet to take stock of challenges, successes and achievements, the ongoing severe drought remains the biggest headache.
The prolonged drought also triggered large-scale population displacement, with close to 2 million people becoming internally displaced, and increasing the refugees' burden in the region because of approximately 40,000 of our brothers and sisters sought asylum from hunger in neighboring countries in 2022. Now, as we go into 2023, the outlook is still worrisome.
Fears are also rife as scientists project extreme weather changes in 2023 that may cause severe floods akin to the one witnessed in 2019.
It will be most likely replaced by the El Nino. The good news for our region from this projection is that the likelihood of 6 consecutive seasons of failed rain is reduced. But the bad news as well is that it is possible that our region could rapidly change from severe drought to severe flooding.
In this regard, IGAD will be convening an emergency meeting on 20th February to empower member states to take early action. However, IGAD celebrates major successes and achievements. The general elections in 5 member states, among them Kenya's 2022 election, have been termed peaceful and successful.
We may not hold and we may not bring the rain, but we can stop violence. We can stop disagreements. We can tell the politicians enough is enough. And when the voice of an elder with a stick of authority, and when they speak, and we're all Africans, we know what that means.
IGAD Executive Secretary Dr. Wokne Gebeyehu at the same time thanked President William Ruto for designating the Ethiopia peace mediation talks to former President of Kenya Uhuru Kenyatta. He says IGAD has partnered with the African Union and the United Nations to foster peace talks in most countries facing conflict, such as South Sudan and Ethiopia. IGAD has at the same time launched its Council of Eminent Personalities, bringing on board 21 ambassadors who have been mandated to help in social cohesion, political stability and sustainable progress. Renowned athletes Catherine Dereba and Paul Tergat and military man Major General retired John Sei have been crowned to represent Kenya. IGAD has 8 member states. As the State of the Region address brings to the fore the main challenges still bedeviling the region, commitment by governments remains paramount towards sustainable future for the member states.
Kamche Menza reporting there. And on that note, let's take a break, but I'll be back with more in business and sports.
And those ruins have to disappear right away.
Well, I'm not going to let that happen, Daddy. If you're really going to order to demolish those ruins, then you have no choice but to make the tractor run all over me.
Just accept it. Alonso is the boyfriend of Fabiola. With Marisol, I will see her as many times as I please.
I told you to shut up!
There's something so dark, something weird being hidden, and I honestly can't understand why he hides it. Your father has a right to have his own life, and you have no right whatsoever to meddle in it, Fabiola. Are you telling me that Dad ordered to tear down all the ruins of the old house and all that? Yes. Isn't that weird? I swear that sometimes I even think that the things I always hear other people say about my father those things are not true.
And how is my dear princess?
Daddy, you and I have to talk.
Why do you sound so serious? What's going on?
I want you to tell me about Tulio Irazapa.
It's the third round of the DFB Pokal. A mini Revere derby in the DFB Cup.
You see for Mukoko! Lozier's in there and scores!
This is an old-school raw pot battle. 5-time winners against 2-time finalists.
Fantastic save from Gregor Kobel.
The raw pot battle. Only one can go through.
Building the resilience of young persons is actually involving them from all the steps. I mean, all the steps, all the way from planning to the implementation.
5% of employment is reserved for persons with disability. Watu walemavu wana access kandarasi ya serikali through what we call access to government procurement opportunities.
GBV cases tend to be very high. Particularly, for example, even people who have mental disability, and a reporting of such cases becomes a very big problem.
And those ruins have to disappear right away.
Well, I'm not going to let that happen, Daddy. If you're really going to order to demolish those ruins, then you have no choice but to make the tractor run all over me.
Just accept it. Alonso is the boyfriend of Fabiola. With Marisol, I will see her as many times as I please.
I told you to shut up!
There's something so dark, something weird being hidden, and I honestly can't understand why he hides it. Your father has a right to have his own life, and you have no right whatsoever to meddle in it, Fabiola. Are you telling me that Dad ordered to tear down all the ruins of the old house and all that? Yes. Isn't that weird? I swear that sometimes I even think that the things I always hear other people say about my father those things are not true.
And how is my dear princess?
Daddy, you and I have to talk.
Why do you sound so serious? What's going on?
I want you to tell me about Tulio Irazapa.
Kwanza nikapikwa ile inaitwa nini? Scandinavia. Nikapikwa Scandinavia yote.
Wewe. Scandinavia ni nini? Ulifanywa scanning.
Uliwahi niona nikiharvest? Hapana, kuna organ zako nimeharvest. Siwezi jua lakini sijakuwa kwa hospitali. Kuna zako nimeharvest. Kwani ujijua? Hapana.
Swali ni where did the second kidney go?
Tell us. Maambia sisi.
Kwa hivyo nikeleza mahakama ulikula imondo, alafu narudi kupeleka watu kotini. ati kwamba ukakula imondo na hata maybe ulikula mpaka figo. Na hicho kwa nasema wrong. What do you mean?
Kwa hivyo mimi nitamkata aje tumupike yeye ni sakura.
Unajua hii ni koti na ukiwa unasema urongo tutakufungia.
Utakauswa.
Haya, uko na KBC ngapi?
KBC zangu wasana naso. Umezipata?
Nani amesema story ya KBC?
Umeuliza aje?
Kuna kitu mimi hukupatia?
Wewe kazi yako ni?
Kuna kitu mmimi hukupatia?
Hapana, upatii mimi wewe. Hakuna kitu hujapatia mimi.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, let's look at business news where about 1.5 million Kenyans will benefit from a groundwater harnessing project taking off next month in 5 worst-hit ASAL counties. Water Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says with pointing to reduced rainfall in March, the government is relying on water reservoirs and harnessing points. But before then, county governments should make use of boreholes and water tracker centers to cushion the affected Kenyans.
In September 2021, Kenya declared drought as a national disaster, with over 2.1 million people pronounced food insecure. The government had then moved to ensure Kenyans in the worst-hit counties had water offered by water reservoirs and boreholes. However, ASAL counties now say only 2 out of every 5 boreholes are functional, with 10 to 15 boreholes in affected counties in need of maintenance.
We have been struggling for the last 3 years. You remember, we have 5 failed rainy seasons for the last 3 years. And drought management or intervention has become a very costly things for the county government from this region.
It's all the same. All of us are dealing with situations whereby we are literally repairing a number of bores on a daily basis, given the situation on the ground.
The Ministry of Water says it is shifting to harnessing groundwater as a long-term solution for Turkana, Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir and Garissa counties in a program to be undertaken over a period of 6 years.
And our objective is to ensure that it is sustainable and accessible and we manage it well. We will not be able to achieve that without settling our own commitments and ensuring that governance, which keeps on coming, is addressed.
In addition, she notes that catchment areas are going through degradation and reduced freshwater availability is a threat that should be addressed through collaboration with county governments.
Once we start this project, because we are losing lives, we've lost animals, we cannot afford to joke around. It is concessionary loans, but this money belongs to the people of the 5 counties.
And surely there is need for serious attention, and I believe this plan we have put in place will really assist quite a number of issues related to water in your counties.
Despite Kenya being a water-scarce country, way below the global benchmark, the ministry still aims for 100% household water access by the year 2030.
We will be targeting at least an average of 3 big dams per county. And those will be done through PPPs.
A drought situation so dire it was declared an emergency. Now the government has come up with various long-term and short-term solutions to avoid a repeat of the same this year.
Thank you, Hibak Said, for that report. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers is calling on the government to put on hold the planned increase in the rates of excise stamps slated for next month. The manufacturers are concerned that the decision will increase the cost of living and highlight Kenya's tax unpredictability regime.
The proposed excise duty, Excise Goods Management System, Amendment Regulations of 2023 intends to increase the rates of excise stamps for bottled water, cosmetics, juices, non-alcoholic drinks, alcoholic beverages, tobacco and nicotine products, and export products subject to excise with effect from next month. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers says the proposed increment up to levels of over 100% on some items would increase the cost of finished products amidst the rising cost of living. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers is concerned that the latest proposal is barely 4 months after a 6.3% inflation adjustment on specific excise duty tax rates that was effected in October last year, which impacted cosmetics, confectionery, alcoholic beverages, bottled water, tobacco, and nicotine products. In addition, the manufacturers say there were other increases in excise taxes in July 2022 through the Finance Act 2022. The Kenya Association of Manufacturers say this tax unpredictability could affect investments in Kenya. The manufacturers are concerned that hiking excise stamps could fuel proliferation of contrabands that could lead to reduced tax revenue for the government. In a statement, Kenya Association of Manufacturers Chairman Rajan Shah says, "We are afraid that such increment to some of the most counterfeited items in Kenya will further encourage counterfeit and illicit trade." The manufacturers say the proposed hike in excise stamps could undermine Kenya's export agenda by further making Kenyan-made products uncompetitive.
Thank you, Mukami, for that report. Now, sports, where Kenyan Premier League side AFC Leopards have climbed to the 7th position in the league after beating Vihiga Bullets 1-0 at the Nyayo National Stadium. Leopards have accumulated 21 points so far following that win. Now, Ingwe started the match on a high note and were awarded after only 5 minutes when Maxine Otieno put them ahead. FC created more chances to increase their lead but were not clinical enough. The Leopards are now unbeaten in the last 5 matches, and their next assignment will be against league leaders, that is Nzoia Sugar, on Sunday at Sudi Stadium. In other league matches played, Clifton Miheso scored a brace as Kenya Police FC thrashed Mathare United 5-0, while Talanta FC beat Wazita FC 3-0. Well, let's look at golf now, where 16-year-old Chanel Wangari will be the first Kenyan to tee off in the first round of the 2023 Magical Ladies Kenya Open, set for the Part 72 PGA Baobab Course Vipingo Ridge. The groups of Helen Tami, Agatha Lezan, Clara Manzalini, and that of Maria Hernandez, Luis Duncan, and Teresa Maleka will get the first round underway. Highly ranked amateur Shalene Wangari, who has so far won the Kenya Ladies Open Amateur Championship and Faldo Series Kenyan Championship, will get her round underway alongside Louis Malcheranda and Sarah Kajelka. The other 4 Kenyan players are Naomi Wafula, Mercy Nanchama, Jacqueline Walter, and Nancy Wairimu will all tee off in the afternoon. The field of 96 will be playing for a total prize of 300,000 euros, with the field set to be cut at the end of round 2. Just an update of what happened yesterday. Manchester United have secured their place at the Wembley in the League Cup final after defeating Nottingham Forest 2-0 on Wednesday night. Manchester United will face Newcastle United at Wembley in the EFL Cup final on the 26th of February. Tonight in La Liga, Real Madrid will be hosting Valencia at 11 p.m. and English Premier League resumes tomorrow, where Chelsea will be hosting Fulham at 11 p.m. So on that note, we come to the end of the news this morning, but we will be back with the review of the newspapers in just a short moment. Let's take that break and come back with the newspaper review.
right, let's take a look at what is making headlines today on this particular Thursday morning. And we are taking a look at a few of our newspapers. I have a copy of the People Daily, and Marie is on the other side of the studio. I believe she has the Standard and the People Daily. Let me take a look at the Daily Nation. And on the front page of this particular paper, Ruto moves to break groupings in coalition. That is what is on the front page of the People Daily. In the headlines this fine Thursday morning, President seeking to consolidate power, deliver on pledges. Of course, these are housekeeping rules that the President is taking a keen eye on. President William Ruto has moved to avert a fallout in his Kenya Kwanza alliance by banning regional caucuses in Parliament that were reportedly inflaming tensions within the ruling coalition. Now, this could also be aimed at containing factions from Mount Kenya and Western that were coalescing around DP Rigathi Gachagua and Prime Cabinet Secretary, that is Musalia Mudavadi. We shall take a look at that particular story in a bit, but still on the front page of this particular paper, at the bottom there are 13 subjects. Junior high, no child's play. That is the number of subjects they are taking. Grade 7 learners who began their junior secondary education this week are studying more subjects compared to the last batch of the 844 pupils who are in Standard 8. Now, the 1.2 million students in junior secondary school are studying 12 core subjects and a maximum of 2 optional subjects, unlike the 5 they would have taken under the 844 system. We shall also take a look at that story in a bit. Still on the front page, governors stick to their guns in review share stalemate. What is it all about? Counties are demanding 425 billion Kenya shillings from the National Treasury in equitable share of revenue. That story also on the front page of the People Daily. Also in matters concerning costs, and the diesel prices are expected to rise on the new pollution tax. Also on the People Daily is in regards to that particular story. Their state proposes a change in the taxation of fuel, which could see different fuel products taxed before taxed based on their contribution to greenhouse gas emission. And that is on the front page of the People Daily. We shall take a look at what is inside that particular paper. But still, let me move to the Star newspaper. In the headlines, why Ruto and Raila war set to intensify? Why Ruto and Raila war set to intensify? What is it all about? We shall take a look at that particular story. Some of President's foot soldiers want former head of state sacked as regional peace envoy. What is that all about? And we have stories on the jungle uniform that we've been seeing some of our CSs adorning themselves with. It's captured in that particular paper, including Interior CS Kithure Kindiki during a tour at Lokichogio on January 27th, adorning himself in that particular jungle uniform. Is also Public Service CS Aisha Jumwa at the NYS headquarters, that is in Ruaraka, on January 27th. And the Defense CS Aiden Duale also being pictured there on the front page of the Star when he visited the KDF troops operating in various close operations forward operating bases in Damasa, and this is in Diffi, in Wajir and Mandera counties, that is of the northeastern parts of the country. Also, on at the bottom of the Star paper, there we have ASAL schools plagued by bandits and rustlers become usable. What is it all about? Okay. Akadi Primary School in Isiolo is located where bandits and the castle rustlers clash routinely, exposing children and education education workers to risk. Of course, with no offense, dilapidated classrooms, broken toilets and poor infrastructure, it is also a likelihood that some see it as it is like a punishment to send children to the school, considering the state of affairs in that particular region, that is the ASAL areas. Then a lobby came upon the school, and its journey on transformation has begun in regards to that particular story. We shall take a look at that in a bit. Also on the front page, lastly, at the bottom, big win as DP Rigathi Gachagua gets back his frozen 202 million Kenyan shillings. The DP Rigathi Gachagua will be smiling all the way to the bank after judges adopted an agreement to have the 202 million shillings that was declared proceeds of crime returned to him. And we shall take a look at that particular story also in a bit. But that is what is on the front page of the Star and the Daily Nation. Marie?
Indeed, it's the same story being highlighted on the Standard newspaper front page, the deal that earned Rigathi extra million shillings. The Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has had the last laugh in his battle with the state, recovering his 202 million shillings that had been declared proceeds of crime and getting the Asset Recovery Agency to pay him more millions in cost. Actually, the Asset Recovery Agency is also to pay the Deputy President, that is Gene Enterprises Limited and Rafiki Microfinance Bank, the cost they incurred while litigating the case at the High Court. So that is a story in the Standard newspaper. Ruto allies take battle to Uhuru, and on that particular story, what is coming out is that I beg your pardon, will Ruto heed his allies' plea to drop Uhuru from DRC peace talks? So that is a very controversial matter. We'll be following up to see how the government will be able to handle that and what it will bring out in terms of politics playing out. Now, the story that we did highlight for you in the news, Joy as Nakuru woman 25 gives birth to 5 babies. So that is another story being highlighted in the Standard newspaper. Quite a lot being covered here. Governors want more money. Say the 380 billion shillings given is below the expectations of the 425 billion shillings that was approved by the CRA. So we want to cut short this particular newspaper review right now and take you to the Safari Park, where there's a cancer summit happening there. Remember, cancer has been a burden in the country, and this summit will just be taking stock of what has been happening and some of the recommendations that the government needs to adapt. So we will be bringing you details of that definitely in our subsequent bulletins in as far as that summit is concerned. But right now, I want to hand you over to Victor Olo, who is there and is ready to bring you details of what will be happening there. So Victor, over to you.
Good morning. Welcome to this particular function. We're coming to you live from the Safari Park Hotel, today being the 2nd day of February 2023. An important day in our calendar where the world is marking the World Cancer Day, and here in Kenya we are also marking the Cancer Summit 2023. I hope you are going to enjoy the discussion. I have my guest already on set. We want to talk about matters, health and cancer. Do you know your status? Even your kin, do they know their status? One of the leading causes of death right now is because of cancer. Reason? Because of early, late screening, and that is one of the issues that we want to discuss here as a nation so that we can get informed. You go get screened and tested. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor Lo. Right about now, I have got my guest in studio already. I have got Dr. Githinji Gitahi, who is the Group CEO, AMREF, and Chair, National Cancer Institute Board. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana. And in the middle, the only lady here is Dr. Catherine Nyongesa Wata. Dr. Nyongesa is an oncologist who is was lightly put, cancer specialist and head of department, Kenyatta National Hospital, cancer treatment. She also has over 15 years in management matters cancer. Dr. welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so to speak, we were making fun out of it. We are safe. Matters health and we have matters security. We have Chief here who is Douglas Kimani Mwangi, who is the Assistant Chief, Kahawa West Sublocation in Kasarani. This is your area, right, Chief?
Thank you. This is my area. Welcome.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, gentlemen and lady, let's talk about cancer today. Today being an important day in the calendar. Let me start with you, Dr. Githinji. It's coming at a time when I quote you, you said in a past event that 76 people die daily because of cancer. That is a big number.
That's a really big number, and we estimate that that 75, 76 actually underestimated.
Yes.
Because of course the source of that data would be what we call the National Cancer Registry, or estimates, or what you may call projections from the global data. We know that there are a lot of people who actually die of cancer, but they never really access a health facility.
Yes.
Meaning that therefore they may not be recorded. Because of course we know that access to health services in this country and many other countries in Africa is only about 40%. Yes. Only about 40% of people have access to healthcare. But that as it may be, it means that we are losing 75 lives every day, 75, 76 lives every day. That is 75, 76 families that are affected on a daily basis, and that amounts to more than 27,000 people on an annual basis. The challenge actually is not even, it's more about why is it that we are losing so many people, and how many are actually being diagnosed at the same time, because the 75 is daily deaths. We estimate that about 115 diagnoses are made on a daily basis, which tells you that if you're making 115 diagnoses every day and 75 or 76 are dying every day, that's a very high ratio of people who die out of the ones who are diagnosed. And this is actually the challenge, and this is what brings us here today, because you may get cancer, but then if you're diagnosed early, then you don't have to be a statistic within the 75.
Yes.
So the big challenge for us is how to reduce the burden of cancer overall, so that we don't diagnose so many people on a regular basis, which means prevention, but also how do we diagnose them early for those who actually eventually get it, so that we're able to save their lives, which is the work of Dr. Nyongesa and her team, to say we do early diagnosis, and then for those who do early diagnosis, then the chance of survival is significantly higher.
Yes.
Which is really the question we are asking. How do we ensure we downstage, we diagnose people early so that they have a chance of survival?
That brings me to my very important question, that how important is this day then?
So today we are in the National Cancer Summit. On Saturday, we are celebrating the World Cancer Day. So this period, today, tomorrow, as we discuss the matters cancer, we are also leading to this International Cancer Day. The importance of this is that number one is we must get together as a country, all sectors involved, because cancer is not purely a health sector issue.
Yeah.
There are issues around, when you talk about prevention, you're talking about agriculture, because you know that the storage of grain, for example, is significantly important for cancer prevention, because we know that there are certain chemicals like aflatoxin that may lead to cancer. We need to talk about the National Environmental Management Authority, because pollution can lead to cancer. So today and tomorrow, we are actually bringing all stakeholders who are involved or may be involved in reducing the risk of cancer. Number two is we are bringing stakeholders, and this is why I'm really happy to see the chief here, who are community leaders, because we need to create awareness about how to prevent cancer, but also how to ensure that people can go for early screening.
Yeah.
People in the communities, the awareness on cancer screening is very low. It's probably less than 15%. So we need to push that up so that people go for early screening. We then need also to think about the management of it.
Yeah.
When you do early screening, who pays for the screening? So we need NHIF, we need the counties here to say, how do we finance early screening? Not only provide for mechanisms for treatment, but how do we provide the the necessary financial muscle, the health workforce that's required to do early screening and the awareness. So we need everyone here, and this is why the National Cancer Summit is really the critical moment for us to develop a blueprint or a beating cancer plan that we can all rally behind so that we can reduce this burden of cancer.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And coming to you, Dr. Catherine, you know, as the head of oncology and the head of Cancer Treatment Center at the KNH, that is one of the biggest centers and referral hospitals in East and Central Africa. Perhaps the numbers that you receive on a daily basis for screening, it paints a grim picture of a nation that is not aware of the state of cancer as we speak currently, based on what Dr. says, that cancer can be brought even from aflatoxin, that, you know, it's about lifestyle, what we go through. Anytime you receive a patient, what do you really see in them?
So thank you so much. Cancer is really a major public healthcare problem.
Yes.
And when I sit at the Kenyatta National Hospital, we unfortunately see many of the patients presenting in late stage. And this is because of barriers in navigating the healthcare system. And I am happy to say that with devolution of health, we want the counties to be more strengthened in terms of managing cancer patients.
Yes.
This will help in early diagnosis and timely treatment before they reach to the national referral centers. Kenyatta Hospital is a national referral center, so which means we are looking at getting only cases who need more specialized advanced care, and other basic care for cancer patients can still be done in the counties, and this is going to be achieved by more training of doctors, forums like this talking about what are the common signs of the cancer, what should people look out for, what are the risk factors like use of tobacco, alcohol. People don't know that this can lead to cancer. Even some infections like human papilloma virus, this is a preventable disease. We are encouraging mothers with young girls who are the age between 10 to 15 to take their girls for immunization at the county hospitals. It is available for free. Cervical cancer, I would say, is the #1 leading cause of death in our women. And this followed by breast cancer. And these are diseases which can be picked up early and can be managed. And cervical cancer is a preventable disease.
Yeah.
So we see that over 60% of the patients are women, and 40% are of the cancers are being reported in men. We don't know whether this is a true reflection that cancer in our community is more common in women, or is it that the women have a better health-seeking behavior than the men in our community.
Does it really paint a picture of people are not aware of their state of health in the communities where they live, and the fear of getting tested and found positive is now what is now holding people back?
Cancer has a stigma, a lot of stigma.
Yes.
And if you look through the patient navigation program at Kenyatta, and just looking at the routine data, we see that many patients have fear, they worry. They also worry about financial implications of the cancer. So, and just the fear of just the fact that you have cancer. People look at you like you are going to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm here to say that we have cancer patients, despite all those grim statistics, we have survivors. And that is more encouraging, that people should not fear coming forward for if they have symptoms for treatment. And if you can also go for screening in case there are signs of cancer, it can be picked up very early, and sometimes prevention can be done.
Of course, I'll come back to the matter to do with the stigmatization and the health, the financial implications that come with it, because cancer is very expensive.
Yes.
But Chief, we are in your locality. Thank you for welcoming us. But as administrative wing of government, what are you doing deep down in the in your level to create that awareness that yes, cancer is there, it's one of the leading causes of death currently in Kenya, but we can prevent it?
Thank you. Would say that as a ministry, we are arrived and up to the task to handle challenges at the community level, at the grassroots agents of change, we are in touch with the community, with the health facilities, with the health providers. I would say that one of the biggest challenge is the myths and misconceptions about what causes cancer, how it is treated, and how about priority of health in life. And the people are challenged with so many problems that they don't want to put health as a major important investment. And I would say that they now relegate matters health to myths, cultures, and beliefs and misconceptions. You'd see that one of the challenges we have is that at the onset, what causes cancer is a dispute to the common mananchi. You'd find what goes in the street is that when you take wheat, it will cause cancer. So they think you are not taking wheat, I'm not under the risk. They also would think that because I'm in a family whereby no one has been tested positive with cancer, then I'm not at a risk, so I will not even go for screening. And when it comes to issues like vaccine, like the HPV, they would say that this is a Western way of controlling African population. Yeah. So if you go for vaccinations, you go for vaccines, then it is more of a family life, a family control. Yes. And you realize that they detest it, they ignore it, they think it is not unnecessary. They would also maybe believe what is peddled in the social media. And what goes around is what even they believe is gospel truth. They would say that cancer is caused by phones. If you sleep with your phone, then you are likely to get cancer. Yeah. They would say then maybe it is caused by it's a disease of the rich. Because they are eating a lot of meat and red meat and all that, that is what causes cancer. And you'd realize that they not actually know what is the cause, how to prevent the interventions, and that you can survive. Then when you get it, they say it's witchcraft, umerogwa, and you end up even finding someone, they are consulting very small pastors at the back street for prayers. And they don't get assisted. They don't go for screening. They don't go for treatment. They go for intervention. And they also think it is very costly. So they ignore it and leave it to God. And that is one of the challenges. But we are bringing in community health volunteers. We are bringing public health officers, community health officers who will be able to educate the community, to bring them on board so they can understand they need to go for screening. We have a head event with the Kenyatta University Treating Hospital, Kutri, at our area. They do regular breast cancer and other cancer screening, and we've seen community interested now going for screening, including men who didn't believe that they can get breast cancer. They now go for screening. They didn't believe that a man can get ill. They will only go to hospital when they are highly invalid. So we are seeing change, and with various level 1, 2, 3 hospitals at our area, we see a change.
Absolutely. Dr. Gitai, based on what Chief has said, you know, that is just but a very small representation and a picture of what's happening nationwide, because with the misconception, with the myths, perhaps those are some of the reasons that holding people back. I have to consult my spiritual figure somewhere for me to get healed. And then the issue of stigmatization. Based on what Chief is saying, do you really think these are now some of the reasons why we have got late diagnoses about cancer? People are not aware about their status. And how can we change the whole narrative?
Yeah, Chief Douglas has made some really important points around community mobilization, the stigma around cancer, which also Dr. Nyongesa talked about. I think the first problem we have is awareness about cancer, about screening. Just to say, why should you be screened? Because people are used to going to the hospital or to the facility or even to seek care only when they have a problem. When you have pain, when you're bleeding, when you can't eat, that's when people go. When people are okay, in their own definition, they are healthy, they don't go and seek care. And screening is asking people who are healthy to actually go and seek screening so that they can be found whether they are having a problem. And this is not only for cancer, it's also for hypertension, diabetes. But we know that people, because of this fear and stigma, they say, I would rather not know what I have, because then if I know, then I'll be worried. So they rather bury their head in the sand. And this, you leave it, because then when you're told you have cancer, then there's a new problem that you have to solve, which you didn't have to solve before because you have no problem. But this is the reason why our people are coming late. But also, we also know, and Dr. Nyongesa can probably confirm this, that a lot of the people who come in late diagnosis have actually been to the health center, they have been to a health facility. I saw some data that was saying that a lot of the people who come to the hospital, finally by the time the diagnosis happens, they probably have visited a facility or seen a health worker 6 to 7 times. Okay, so people are also going. So we must also not put the whole burden on the individuals. We have also to put the burden on the health system to say how capacitated is the health system at the first point of contact, able to catch the disease early and refer the person.
But that now brings the issue of wrong diagnosis.
There is wrong diagnosis, there is actually failure to diagnose, and also people may just be told, you have a cough, it's okay, just take this and go away. So there's wrong diagnosis, the failure to catch the actual disease. But there's also another problem of cost. So if you go to a facility and then you say this is what is going on, and the person you see, the health worker, tells you we need to do a biopsy, we need to take a small sample, take it to the laboratory, so that will cost you 10,000 shillings. So go look for the money and come back. But a lot of the people, we know 40% of Kenyans or even more are living under $2 a day. So when you say go and get 5,000 and come, that person won't come back. They'll probably go say we don't have the money, and then what's the problem, I'll wait. Then they have a problem, they come back again. Then they are told, so there are all these challenges of the health system itself that's actually failing the people. Because if somebody has gone to a facility 6 times, how didn't we actually make the diagnosis and refer them on time? So the issue of cost of care is a significant one. We know that for diseases like HIV, TB, malaria, and some other diseases, there is significant funding from the government and from funders, donors, that actually provide free care. So, people with HIV don't pay for their medication, TB, malaria to a large extent, but there is no one funding cancer. Cancer takes only 0.5% of our national health budget. Only 0.5%. But the disease
burden from the summit, from the institute to upscale.
So this is the conversation we need to have, because if it is 10% of our disease burden is cancer, but you're only putting 0.5% of our budget on cancer, it means that we have a huge neglect there. NHIF, the National Health Insurance Fund, has come in. Last year, I think the data I see is that they treated about 50,000 patients, spent about 1.5 billion shillings. So a lot of cancer cases are being taken care of through NHIF. But this is because they only register for NHIF after they are diagnosed. It's not because they were registered before. So we need to scale up NHIF registration to everyone. We need to work with the counties to ensure that health services are available for free at the first point of contact. And this is part of the conversation we are going to be having here with the National Cancer Institute and the Ministry of Health.
So what are the figures do you have currently? Last 2 years, because the number continues to rise. What are the figures that do you have right now in your records?
So as a country, we see over 42,000 new cancer cases every year. Unfortunately, about 28,000 of them are losing their life due to cancer and its related complications. So it is a major problem. It's actually the 3rd leading cause of death in our country, just after infectious diseases and cardiovascular diseases. So as much as we are focusing on cancer, we're also talking to the general public that they also need to be screened for these cardiovascular diseases. Like hypertension is a silent killer. No one thinks that they have hypertension until they are sick, or you get a heart attack. So it is an important thing to look at. And then when we look at the cancer is the biggest mimicker. And that's why patients are presenting late. And even doctors sometimes are missing this diagnosis. It needs a very high index of suspicion from the grassroots. That when the patient keeps coming, if they come 1, 2, 3 times, you need to think twice that Could it be, if it's not an infection, because most of the things will be infection or these cardiovascular diseases. Yes. So if it's not this, what else? Maybe it is cancer. So that is the time the doctor should refer this patient for specialized assessment. We encourage assessment. We encourage our counties to have specialized doctors in the counties. This will help support the clinicians, the GPs, in making a timely diagnosis of cancer, so that we don't have patients coming in tertiary hospitals at stage 3 and 4. In fact, if we look at our routine data from the hospital at Kenyatta, we see that majority of the patients are coming in stage 3 and 4, which is quite advanced stage. So we want these statistics to change. We pick earlier and earlier stages, and the chances of treatment and cure are higher, and the cost of treatment will be lower. But when a patient comes in stage 4, we are dealing with the complications of the cancer. You have to transfuse, they are anemic, they're in a lot of pain, maybe the cancer is bleeding, or it's causing obstruction, maybe to the food pipe, or even the urine is not passing well. So it is very key that cancer is cheaper when it's diagnosed early.
Before I go to the chief, let's just bring the myths that we have around. Anytime you receive a patient, or patients for that matter, can we just try to demystify that probably cancer, the way Chief was putting it, is a disease of the rich? You don't need to take meat, you don't need to take maize, you don't need to take this and that, this and that, this and that. Let's demystify that so that the common mwananchi should understand that cancer can be caused. It's not a disease of the rich, really.
Yeah, true. Cancer can attack anyone, even children, innocent children. They can get cancer. So if we look at the commonest cancers in our country, we look at breast cancer. In fact, the commonest cause of breast cancer could be genetic, the fact that you are a woman, you are growing older, the chances increase, or a positive family history. If we look at cervical cancer, which is number 2, it is actually caused by human papilloma virus. So you can get HPV infection whether you are rich or poor. So it doesn't choose. And that's why we're focusing on primary prevention by immunizing our young girls before they become sexually active and before they contract the human papilloma virus. We look at men. Prostate cancer is quite common, or is one of the leading cancers. It is not a disease of the rich. We see both poor and rich people coming to hospital, and this is caused by genetic factors and the fact that maybe the rest, it's common in the black people, growing older. It's a disease of aging, so no one can stop aging. If we look at throat cancer and lung cancer, which is also common in the male population, the biggest cause is use of tobacco. So people who are smoking are not just the rich or the poor. Anyone, it cuts across. So people should not look at cancer being a disease of a defined group of people. They should look at it as a cancer that can attack you at any time and in or place. And it's important, if you're not feeling well and you've had several visits to a doctor, get a second opinion just to exclude cancer. Also, you have to be proactive to limit the use of tobacco, alcohol, and if you've not started using tobacco, then don't start, because it's a very big health risk factor. Obesity, a lot of excess weight, lack of exercise. These are things we can exercise.
Actually, it boils down to lifestyle diseases now.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Chief, you've gotten your answer based on what you said, the myths, the family issues. Somebody said that, we are to piwa hiyo sio ugonjwa yetu. You get what I'm saying? But then when you go back to your level, the administrative bit of it, what is the response from the common mwananchi? Anytime you have the barazas, you have got community sensitization summits, what is the response and uptake on your drive to sensitize the mwananchi to go tested, get screening, so that we can prevent cancer?
I would agree that people believe us when we give positive message, true message, scientifically researched information, able to influence attitude change. And I would agree that at the grassroots level, we are seeing activities geared towards an understanding that we can do something about cancer. If we find people seeking for treatment and you have success stories of people who have been screened with cancer and they have been cured and they are back to their life, and it's encouraging at the community level. What I may mention specifically in my area, we had the issue of these asbestos roofs, and there was a discussion before about that they could be causing. They have an agent that causes cancer, and we started moving now the roofs. You'll find that there has been activities, maybe government red, to remove even city council houses roofs that were asbestos, and we are replacing them now with the common mabati. You see, the people are embracing. They are accepting that you need to do something about preventing cancer. The other thing I would say is that when it comes to when we are telling wananchi you need to dry your maize until the water content is low so that you don't have a cancer effect. Now they seem to understand.
Yes.
And except now with the brokers and people who are doing for business who may not have the luxury to go through that drying, the common wananchi dries their maize naturally, historically, culturally, and before they take them to the mill. And you see there is a positive response to what you're doing. The biggest undoing is the herbalists and these people who come and put posters on poles and say that we can treat any disease. Dr. Mohammed from Tanzania, from Zanzibar, they really do us unfavor because they do not understand the process or the disease treatment, but they tell wananchi they have an answer, and you're trying to dissuade them from believing those people. We also have another, as I was saying before, people who believe that if I'm ill, especially among the Kikuyu, that because my mother dowry was not paid, if I pay dowry, things will change.
Yes.
And now they go to more of a cultural myths. They're thinking that this disease is in our family because we never paid dowry. And now they go to resources that we have been used to treat, now go to paying dowries in huge amounts, and you end up complicating issues. I would say that we are educating them, we are talking to them, telling them that this cancer is not about family curse. It is something that you can need medical intervention.
Absolutely.
And we are doing well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's a very sad state of affairs because lack of knowledge. Even the good book says that my people will always perish because of lack of knowledge. But Dr. when you talk about the government's intervention to bring cancer centers across the country, you'll find that a majority of Kenyans will travel for long distance, either to go to Kenyatta National Hospital to see Dr. Githinji, and yet whenever they come from different sections of the country, either the counties, they don't have machines. And that is one of the reasons the government probably put a lot of effort to bring cancer treatment closer to the people. What do you think should be done at this particular point? We are in 2023. The summit is ongoing. Apart from the report that has been going on for the last 10 years or so, what are some of the deliverables do you think that you as a community, as a sector, can do to bring cancer treatment closer to the people?
Important question here, and I think, as we said earlier,
yes,
the most effective cancer reduction strategy is screening. So the first step is to screen. Even as we do prevention, all the things, removing what we call the modifiable risk factors, smoking, advising the people, reducing alcohol. Screening is the most critical thing, and that needs to be devolved to the primary healthcare. Health is devolved. It is the counties that need to say at every first point of contact, whether it is level 3 ability to actually do basic screening, depending on the levels of screening approved at every point.
Yes.
That is so important because the service delivery can then be supported through what we call a referral system. Because we don't need every county to have a center of excellence for cancer. We don't need every county to be able to do a PET scan, for example. We don't need every county to be able to do a cyber knife. No, we don't need that. Yeah. We need basic screening, identification of the stage and identification of the level, and then after that, be able to create a hub and spoke or a referral system, because, you know, we probably have, I don't know how many Dr. Nyongesas we have. I think we estimate maybe 70 or so. I don't know. Maybe Dr. Nyongesa has a better number. Right. So you can imagine we have 70. You can't have every county having, all the needed oncologists or all the needed nurse oncologists or all the needed PET scans. So we need a referral system. But the most important thing is to screen. Because once you screen and pay for the screening, you'll be surprised. I don't think right now that actually in our National Health Insurance package, we actually provide for payment for screening. I don't think NHIF pays for pap smear, for example. You know, if you're a woman and, Dr. Nyongesa here said cervical cancer is one of the biggest killers for women. Yeah. But if you go and get screened...
The service already is available.
The service is available. Pap smears are available across the country. But who pays for it? You have to pay for it. You have to pay, you choose food over the pap smear. So these are the basic things we need to focus on first before we focus on centers of cancer. Then once we do the screening and we make sure that that is available to everybody, then you support that with a referral mechanism. As we move forward, then increase the service delivery points, support radiotherapy, chemotherapy, referral, support also the cost of transport, support accommodation. We had a huge crisis in Kenyatta National Hospital where, because you come and you have to wait, people don't know where to stay. You know, all these are the things we need to focus on that are doable before even we go to investing in expensive equipment in the cancer care.
Dr. Ray, you love to chime in on that, but what are some of the emerging trends currently? Because cancer, it evolves. It appears on a daily basis, it comes in different shape, color, name it. But what are some of the emerging trends we have?
So, maybe let me talk about the intervention aspect.
Yes.
As a country, apart from investing in national referral centers, I can mention we have Kenyatta University, Kenyatta National Hospital, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. Those are the national centers with higher specialized equipment. We also have the county chemotherapy administration centers, about 10 of them, and this has reduced the burden of cancer patients having to travel all the way to national centers for that kind of care.
Yes.
And in another setup, we see that NHIF, there's a lot of enrollment on NHIF to take care of these cancer patients. And I would say, like at Kenyatta, I think over 90% of the cancer patients are using NHIF, and we're really grateful to NHIF for this initiative. And I would encourage as many people possible to enroll on this scheme. It helps patients. And then in terms of treatment, cancer treatment is not just radiotherapy machines. Yeah. It is actually, it involves surgery, it involves chemotherapy. Radiotherapy is just one of the treatments. And if we focus on early diagnosis, you may find that even surgery can be done in the county. That's early stage, and the patient may never need to travel to national referral centers for radiotherapy. And in terms of development, we're looking at building capacity. As you mentioned, we have very few oncologists. So we have universities which have actually picked up. I can just name a few more. University, Nairobi University. For the first time, we are training radiation oncologists, and the first batch is due to graduate in less than a year. So this will increase the number of clinical oncologists we have in the country. KMTCs, they are training clinical officers in oncology. We have oncology nursing training going on. Tuku University is training medical physicists. We never had this in the past. Yeah. We are also, as a country, training radiotherapists. Before, doctors or physicists, RTTs, oncology nurses had to go overseas for training, but now this training is available locally. Yeah. And in terms of also preventing cancer, I think as a country we need to focus a lot on education. Educating our children will arm them with information which they can take back to their parents, tell them that, Mom, you need to go for screening. Dad, I see you're not well. You need to go for screening or treatment. So all those things, it is really multi-sectorial. We're just not focusing on infrastructure. We are focusing on human resource and also focusing on empowering the community so that they are more aware.
Yeah.
And together we can win the war against cancer. The success stories of the cancer patients that we've treated and they are surviving. I think that keeps me going.
That's quite important, the success story, because many people always think that now that you have cancer, it's a death trap and your case is closed. All right, let's take a break and we'll come back. We are still going to continue this discussion because cancer is a menace as we speak. From the experts themselves, it is one of the leading causes of death right now in Kenya. But can it be prevented from them? Yes, it can. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more after this.
And those ruins have to disappear right away.
Well, I'm not going to let that happen, Daddy. If you're really going to order to demolish those ruins, then you have no choice but to make the tractor run all over me.
Just accept it. Alonso is the boyfriend of Fabiola. With Marisol, I will see her as many times as I please.
I told you to shut up!
There's something so dark, something weird being hidden, and I honestly can't understand why he hides it. Your father has a right to have his own life, and you have no right whatsoever to meddle in it, Fabiola. Are you telling me that Dad ordered to tear down all the ruins of the old house and all that? Yes. Isn't that weird? I swear that sometimes I even think that the things I always hear other people say about my father those things are not true.
And how is my dear princess?
Daddy, you and I have to talk.
Why do you sound so serious? What's going on?
I want you to tell me about Tulio Irazabal.
Where are you going?
I was planning on helping him drink that. The poor guy looks like he can't handle his alcohol.
And who are you to save him?
Piggy!
Piggy? 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 What's the matter?
Quick, come on! Where's the key? Key! Quick!
Is it here?
Hurry up!
Wait.
Why are you here?
Mr. Pai, I can explain this.
Did you hear all that?
Today, I want to show them my attitude.
Ya bwana, ni chuo kikuu cha burudani, mashavu.
Nyumbani kaumbea.
Burudani.
Twende tukacheze bango. Mama it takes two to tango.
Na interview kali kutoka Pwani.
Nakucheza nawe. Baby nimechizi nawe.
Na ukitaka tuiwashe leo.
Bwana, kila siku ya Friday ama Ijumaa ukipenda saa 3 hadi saa 6 kamili.
Fanya kama unacheza isoko.
Kumbuka hashtag Masha. Nyumbani kwa burudani. Usikose tegea show kali tokea pande za.
Hey, listen up.
Hello everyone and welcome to Engine.
How do we hear? How do we see? What makes up the air we breathe?
Let's go.
It's technology.
Let's grow.
Science, you and me.
Let's go.
We're learning every day.
Let's grow.
Let's ask, let's learn, and let's love.
And
welcome back to the program. You're still on Good Morning Kenya, live from the Safari Park Hotel, where the National Cancer Summit is underway. In fact, it's just begun, still ongoing, and this particular summit is supposed to be taking place between today and 4th. That is 2nd to 4th. It's going to be a 3-day summit, of course, organized by the National Cancer Institute. Just where I am is currently outside Safari Park Hotel there, where there's really quite a lot of activities ongoing, and momentarily I'll be speaking to the Kenyans who've made way here to just understand what exactly their expectations are in regards to this specific summit. We've over time talked about how cancer still is the 3rd leading cause of death in the country, and this is after cardiovascular diseases and infectious diseases, and this is why it has also become necessary for NCI to organize this particular summit. In fact, the first of its kind, to just look at the cancer response in the country, the cancer burden in the country, and how to come up with better ways to alleviate the burden that is cancer. So far, quite a number of issues have been proffered, spanning down from the treatment of cancer, looking at late diagnosis, screening, and how to deal with all of this. And just again, when it comes to treatment, looking at how expensive it has become when it comes to the treatment of cancer. Of course, you've seen how NHIF has played a role, but even at that, we are still looking at how expensive it is, or it has become, when it comes to treatment of cancer. So that is part of what this summit is also going to be looking into, to look at how and where we are as a country as far as cancer response is concerned, where we are in terms of diagnosis and screening, and just how we can be able to bridge that gap, particularly when it comes to diagnosis. When you look at most of this cancer, we've again talked about the fact that early diagnosis, early detection will definitely lead to better treatment and early treatment. So again, this is just basically why you're seeing, Kenyans streaming in large numbers. So far, good number of them are already inside the hotel. And again, this is in regards and in respect to this summit, which, as I said, will be taking place between today and the 4th. And also, quite important for me to mention why this summit will be culminating on the 4th of February, which is actually on Saturday. And this is because of the World Cancer Day, which is often marked or normally marked on the 4th of February. So this is also the reason as to why this specific summit will be culminating on the 4th. That is on Saturday. And I also just want to get a feel of Kenyans on really what exactly they are expecting. But of course, we'll be doing that momentarily. We are here all day to give you bits and pieces of how this event will be unfolding, and also we'll be heading over to Victor to continue with his panel of discussion. And again, we'll be coming back here to definitely get a feel of Kenyans, because they are the ones who do bear this burden, whether it's one who has been diagnosed with cancer, or it's a caregiver, or even a spouse of someone who's suffering from one form of cancer or the other. So we will also definitely want to get a feel of Kenyans in regards to what really exactly they expect from this summit, and what exactly they also expect various stakeholders to do, and definitely also the state in regards to bridging the cancer burden, and more so the cancer treatment. But before we get to do all that, Victor, what more do you have with your guests?
All right, thank you so much. That is Doreen Range at the registration center for that particular report. And by the way, the function is also happening at Kasarani Primary School, so you need to head there and get to talk to the experts and understand what is needed as far as cancer, the fight against cancer in Kenya is concerned. All right, welcome back. Now, let me come back to you, Douglas, who is our area chief now. Let's talk about the issue of capacity building in our local communities. What are you doing at your level?
Basically, at our level, we have the universal healthcare programs.
Yes.
That have been launched in the previous government, and we're able to do household mappings, ensure that every household is covered with a community health volunteer who is able to link them to level 1, level 2, and level 3 hospitals, which we have several in our areas. Yes. You see, like now the county government is doing dispensaries and maybe health centers at from level 1 to level 3. And at least now the burden of patients going all the way to Kenyatta for treatment or even screening, now they can do it nearer home. The other intervention that we are undertaking at the local level is to ensure that people register for NHIF, so that every family is NHIF covered, because that enables the family to reduce the burden when they are hospitalized. Maybe when it comes to now daily going to hospital, you realize that it may be a little bit costly for them. Yes. But in case someone is admitted, NHIF comes in, and that helps us to reduce the harambees that we do, the social media WhatsApps for raising money for paying, and maybe you realize also people have been detained in hospital. We are doing awareness at that level. We have also recently we were taking like Kenyatta University Referral Hospital doctors to the slum at Soweto to talk with the community, so we were able to engage, tell them that demystify, that was a breast cancer month, and demystify that you can also do self-screening, and there are things that you can do to identify whether you are also at that risk. And as you are talking with the community, you find there is uptick. Now, the next time we had a breast cancer event, you see wazees or even old women coming there, and before they used to ignore that. Those are the main major activities. Then when it comes to maybe increase of coverage, yes, and outreach, you find like we have now the Community Health Center. Community Health Center, okay, is able to serve the community, and we have another one at Jathaini, another health center, level 3 hospital. Yes. We have the Kasarani, we have the Githurai, and it is just within walk. You don't need to go very far to see a doctor like before. And that is what we're trying to do to reduce, especially in the urban areas. The rural areas, we go to do still more to take community health at the grass, because you don't need a hospital, you need maybe a community health worker at the local level. Absolutely. At the chief's baraza, talking to people, and they're able to answer questions and refer when need be. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let me come back to Dr. Gidinji now that we are almost coming to a close. There was a cancer task force report, and it's out. I'd like you to give me maybe 1 or 2 deliverables or some of the recommendations they're trying to implement right now in the fight against cancer as we come to a close.
Yep. So thank you very much. This was a report which was instituted by the Ministry of Health, yes, through the Cabinet Secretary, and they wanted to understand the state of cancer, what the challenges are, because as you can hear, it's a very complex situation. The report was handed over, and the key recommendations were grouped into kind of 6 areas. One was health workforce. Do we have the necessary health workforce or health workers to deal with this problem? Secondly was, do we have the necessary financing, and how do we finance cancer? Number 3 was around the products, what we call health products and technologies. Are these available, as you were asking earlier? Is radiotherapy, chemotherapy available? And then the other thing was about what is their costs? There were challenges that were seen to be challenges of stockouts, for example, very expensive care. There was also the issue about data. Do we collect enough data? Do we have a national registry that can tell us where cancer is going, which cancers are growing? Kenya does not have what we call a population-based cancer registry. We have kind of hospital-based. So that was a big concern. The other concern was actually the governance, the leadership and governance of the cancer environment. And that is why there was a constitution of the board of the National Cancer Institute, which was created by the Cancer Act 2012, but the board had never really been constituted. So we came into being about July or so last year. And then there was an issue around just multi-sectoral coordination. So these were the things. So already you can see the board is in place. That's why the National Cancer Institute is now hosting this summit. We are in place. We are now taking care of that. The National Cancer Registry is in place. We are looking at how to constitute centers of excellence in the counties and constitute what is called tumor boards to discuss cancer at a local level and bring experts together to discuss this. There is also the issue of developing the necessary human resources. Dr. Nyongesa has talked about the work going on to increase training of cancer resources. And there is the issue of financing, ensuring that the package of care for cancer for NHIF is expanded to include screening. So there are many recommendations, and these are now going to be tabled at this summit as well, discussed, so that at the end of tomorrow, this summit will have discussed the recommendations and said, let us prioritize the following and let's move on this way.
Dr. Rick, your final remarks. What are the success stories?
Yes, cancer is a disease like any other disease, and if one has been diagnosed with cancer, do not fear, have hope, and there are research and standard treatment recommendations.
Yes.
So don't waste so much time on herbal treatment. At the end of the day, the doctor treats and God heals. We embrace the church in praying for the patients, yes, but let them seek approved conventional treatment from the hospitals. And with that, we've had a lot of success stories. As I said, over 30% of the cancer patients that are being diagnosed every year are surviving, and they are living testimonies. We want to improve this cure rate to a higher, even reach 100% in the near future. And with all these concerted efforts, I think we are going to make it. And let patients, when they are diagnosed with cancer, let them not waste time on, they are told don't take gluten, don't take meat, don't take this, just take wheatgrass. All those are not like standard treatments for cancer. Just go to hospital. If it's surgery, you'll be done surgery. If it's chemotherapy or radiotherapy, these are research treatments, even in the US, in the UK. And we are not reinventing the wheel. We're actually using approved treatments which have been researched and shown to be successful in terms of improving the survival of the cancer patients and also in providing cure.
Thank you.
But the key is early diagnosis improves cures.
Asante. And Chief, what should you expect today? We are in your locality.
Today, we are expecting to raise our discussion at a higher level, so we're able to raise the awareness so that the whole nation can understand how to go for screening, how to prevent cancer, how to manage cancer, and the benefit of knowledge rather than from living in myths and misconceptions, and especially the phone, the social media. It is actually doing us harm. We need to change the story so that we can positively tackle these menace and we can overcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. That brings us to a close on this particular discussion, but stick around because we'll be back later on. We've been talking to Dr. Githinji Gitahi, who is the Group CEO, AMREF, and Chair of the National Cancer Institute Board, as well as Dr. Catherine Nyongesa-Wata, who is the oncologist, cancer specialist, head of Department Kenyatta National Hospital, Cancer Treatment Center, and with over 15 years on managing cancer patients. And finally, Douglas Kimani Mwangi, who is the Assistant Chief, Kahawa West Sublocation in Kasarani. We are taking a break, taking it back to the broadcasting house. Later on, we'll still be having this discussion when the summit will officially kick off here at the Safari Park here in Nairobi. Stick around. We'll be right back later on. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Victor Olo, there at the Safari Park Hotel, together with Doreen, bringing us up to date about what is happening in as far as the inaugural Cancer Summit is concerned. And just like as Victor has said, we'll be able to bring you more, not just in Good Morning Kenya, but also I'm sure in our subsequent bulletins we should be able to bring you some updates in as far as that summit is concerned. Earlier on, Victor talking to Dr. Githinji Gitahi, who is the CEO, Group CEO for AMREF, and him giving us just statistics of cancer burden in the country, saying that about 115 diagnoses are made daily, with 40% only able to access medical care, 75 people dying each day. So the challenges to reduce the burden of cancer, he says, is early diagnosis to increase chances of survival. Also roping in other stakeholders, including the environment, that is NEMA, and agricultural department, or can I say the sector, because noting that pollution and aflatoxin is one of the causes of cancer, and so there is need for a multi-sectoral approach. That NHIF also being challenged there to come on board because cancer treatment is expensive for most Kenyans, so there is need for the NHIF to also include cancer treatment in their services. Dr. Catherine Nyongesa, who is the head of cancer treatment and head head of oncology at the Kenyatta National Hospital there, also saying that late diagnosis seems to be the biggest issue in as far as cancer treatment is concerned. Just noting that cervical cancer is one of the cancers that actually can be prevented with the HPV vaccine, but again, there is there is a low uptake, slow and low uptake of the HPV vaccine. So just encouraging women that this is one of the types of cancers really that can be prevented, and so take charge and go get it, especially for the young girls between 10 and 14 years before their first sexual debut. Also raising the issue of stigma, and she noted that cancer is not a death sentence if picked early. That means that you can actually be treated. Also, the provincial administration being roped in there. We saw the chief talking, and mainly the reason here is that they will be able to mobilize the population and also help in demystifying some of the misconceptions in as far as cancer is concerned. He actually noted that the social media is a very big problem. It has really nothing to do with so much of diet and all those myths that people talk about. So we'll be able to bring you an update in as far as this summit is concerned. It's a very important summit. Cancer has been a real burden on Kenyans, and really if you walk around or talk to people, you might not really miss somebody who has been affected directly or indirectly with cancer. So those are some of the highlights coming from Safari Park Hotel during the inaugural Cancer Summit with my colleague Victor Low and Doreen Arange there, definitely coming back later on to give you more updates. So away from that, we are back in the studio and we continue with newspaper review. I think I'll continue with the Standard newspaper where there's a case, the case querying Hustler Fund fails to proceed. And the issue here is that the case which President William Ruto's Hustler Fund is being challenged in court failed to proceed in court on Tuesday. And the parties that are actually against the Hustler Fund who lodged the case led by Professor Fred Ogola of Linda Ugatuzi were told that one of the advocates representing the respondents was absent, and so there is no way that case would have taken off. And some of the issues that Linda Ugatuzi had raised is that the manner in which the fund operates as it is has no known established office or entity. The organization is also questioning why Kenyans are being asked for their PIN, numbers, yet the fund has not been approved by Parliament, and that the fund of this nature has to be established by an act of Parliament, and the monies being dished to Kenyans must be contained in the financial budget. That is according to Professor Ogola of Linda Ugatuzi. Now, President William Ruto was in Mogadishu, that is in Somalia, and there was a summit or a conference for that matter, a meeting bringing together Kenya, Ethiopia and Djibouti in as far as issues of terrorism is concerned. And during the meeting in Mogadishu yesterday, heads of states from Kenya, Ethiopia and Djibouti said that they backed Somalia's president, that is Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud's government, as it rebuilds stability. Remember that terrorism has been a very big issue in Somalia, and definitely affecting the Horn of Africa especially. The United Nations Security Council imposed the weapons ban in 1992, that is against Somalia during the country's civil war. And President William Ruto being among the leaders there, as they said that they were receptive to the Somalia government's request to obtain both lethal and non-lethal military units to enhance the military's firepower capabilities. So those are some of the stories being highlighted in the Standard newspaper. I want to hand it over to my colleague, that is Ram Aguko, who will not only bring you just some updates in the headlines, but also will be steering you through the Entertainment Thursday. We have our guest already in the studio. So I want to thank you for taking your time to be with us. Remember that we still have more coming up in our subsequent bulletins later in the day, so you do not want to miss the news updates. Thank you so much, and we will be able to update you more later on. So thank you so much. My name is Marie Yambo.
Yes, and of course, even as we proceed, thank you so much, Marie, for that. We just want to continue with what is taking center stage in our papers. But before that, a quick breather. After all that conversation, we shall be back with more right here on Good Morning Kenya. I have with me, as I mentioned earlier, the Star and the Nation. We shall take a look at more on these particular papers after this break.
Where are you going?
I was planning on helping him drink that. The poor guy looks like he can't handle his alcohol.
And who are you to save him?
Bye. Piggy!
Piggy? 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 What's the matter?
Quick, come on! Where's the key? Key! Quick!
Is it here?
Hurry up!
Wait.
Why are you here?
Mr. Bai, I can explain this.
Did you hear all that?
Siuzi, sitaiuza. Na hata nikifa watoto wangu hawafai kuiuza.
Zolani amekajakiwa.
What? Where is he?
I don't know.
Calvin.
Akinana, all this time ulikuwa na pretend to.
Nilijua utaelewa mpango wangu.
Lakini dad.
Wewe fanya kazi yako, Mel. It's not an easy ride.
Zawadi. Please.
Wemwe, Shangwe, Vifijo, and Nderemo. All of those things mean what? Yes, maybe I didn't understand.
Means you need a kamusi.
I don't speak Kizungu, January. Where's your boyfriend?
Kama ni manzi wa Nairobi amka uanze
sasa unaanza kuniingililia.
Ameambia manzi wa Nairobi peke yake. That means they had
Sasa mimi ni wa Nairobi, nilihama, nimekuja Nairobi.
Miss University, Miss Kenya, every miss that has ever been there, somewhere Leaky
is involved. He's leaking. He's leaking right there with it.
Hey, listen up.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Engine.
How do we hear? How do we see? What makes up the air we breathe?
Let's go.
It's technology.
Let's go.
Science, you and me.
Let's go.
We're learning every day.
Let's ask, let's learn, and let's love. And don't forget to make it fun.
Abantu ba Mintombu Yamore. Your favorite KBC station, Minto FM, is now at your doorstep. Enjoy the hottest KC music, informative and entertaining shows, and reliable news only on Minto FM. Tune in to Minto FM on 91.7 FM in Nyamira, Kisii, and its environs.
Minto FM,
Yes. That song. That is one that is joining me today on this fine Thursday morning. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for sticking with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Ram Maguko, and that song is Yesu Anipenda, sung by the one and only Mary Njeri, who is joining me today in studio. Karibu sana Mary.
Asante sana, nashukuru kuwa hapa.
Asante sana, nashukuru. And I would like to start first of all kwa kusema kwamba wewe ni mwalimu.
Mimi ni mwalimu wa Mokorwe Primary School, huko Gatondo, Kiambu.
Gatondo? I have seen hapo kwa wimbo wako, I've seen students.
Yeah, those are my students. And they are very eager, they like singing. I teach them not only for the books, I also teach them how to praise God and how to serve others. And I also do counseling and guidance in school.
Okay. All right.
And I also preach, and I give them the word every day.
You preach, you do counseling, guidance and counseling, and you also teach. Which subject?
I teach all the subjects. Because normally I'm in CBC Roa.
Okay.
I'm in grade 2, teaching grade 2.
All right. So
grade 3 now.
Now
I'm
grade
in
3.
Grade 3 at the moment.
Okay.
So I teach all the subjects to those children, and I bring them closer to me. I bring them closer to Jesus, and I teach them how to live socially and to interact with others. And I try also to develop their talents by all means, and I encourage them.
I love your spirit. I love your heart. It's very encouraging. What made you want to get into singing and praise and worship and preaching? I'm looking at a teacher.
Yeah.
That is as a profession.
Yeah.
But now you're getting into ministry. What made you decide to do that?
It's a God's given gift, and He has done wonders through me as long as I interact with the children. In many schools where I have gone, I have been always trying to teach the children how to sing, because the songs soothe the soul, and they help the children to remember. And it also helps them to love God. I love my God so much, and I try to impact something on these children so that they may also live a life that is worth a person that knows God and who is an important person in the society. So I know in my teaching career, I have formed many leaders. From these children, I have formed many children who are leaders, and they are courageous, and they have good self-esteem.
When did you start singing?
I started singing back in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah, 2004. That was my first album which I released, and I released it when I was working in Nairobi, still in Nairobi, and I was working in a Mokorwe project, a Mokuru project, where Sister Mary was the head teacher there, and she had also as a home for the orphans, and I used to go there to encourage the children and to teach them some skills. And I used to encourage them and teach them songs. And they used to like them and to feel free and to enjoy. They liked it very much.
For you to get to where you are since that time, it must have been a long journey.
Yeah,
and it has not been easy.
Yeah.
There is a testimony behind
there is
this powerful woman we see today.
Sure.
I would like to hear that. The journey, how has it been? Your testimony.
Yeah, it has been a hard journey, and I have a testimony that God uplifts and upholds. Because as I worked with these children in the slums, I encountered so many problems, and they were also encountering so many problems, which were forcing me even to face it in their homes. and also to feel just like encouraging even their parents, because their living conditions were not very good. They were very challenging. And I also being there, I was being very challenged. And lastly, I worked in St. Catherine Primary School, just next to Mata, where there was also a rehabilitation center. And I used to go there just to encourage the children. And those children were really from the street. Immediately now they come from the street, they were brought there, and it was the work for the children, for the teachers, one being me, who was there, to encourage the children and to help them to contain them, because street boys and girls are very, they are very, what can I say? Very unique, very special, very unique, and also very talented. Yeah, it is that inspired me to teach them my songs, and I would teach with them. In the first album, I sang also with those children in St. Catherine, and I used to encourage them because we were in mabati structures, where we used to encounter many problems. Even snakes were coming when we are teaching.
During the day?
Yeah, during the day. I'm teaching so much and a snake just come or a frog just jumping, and there were so many interruptions in the classroom work. Sometimes we could get some volunteers or visitors coming to see how are we really managing.
Is it still the same in the same?
Oh, I saw God. We saw God. We saw God. I used to preach to children in parade and in their classes, and I used to encourage them that one day this condition will surely be over. And I used to tell them our God is able. And if we would trust in God, He would do wonders, and a miracle can be done anytime. And one day, after waiting for a long time, a group of people came from Canada. And when they came, they asked me to come to the poorest school ever, so that they can uplift. And that was the beginning of God's right in that school. Because when they came, they just felt this is the school that we needed to uplift, and the children we needed to give the best condition ever. The running condition, the interacting condition, and also to develop their talents.
And they did it.
And they started now building they started building the school, and they moved the structures to the field. So now from there, the parents were involved, and the school was built the way it is today. A beautiful school with the tiles, a beautiful school with even toilets and bedrooms, a beautiful school where we used a storage. There were the down classes and the upper classes. It was consolidated in one place. And I left that place praising God and telling God, Amen. You can do, and you hear. And the children were all saying, God hears, and God has visited our school. Amen. And that for me was an increase of my faith and the increase of the whole teachers, all the teachers we were with. And it was like our effort were rewarded. Today it is the best. Now when I came to Mokoro, I moved from Nairobi and went to Mokoro Primary School. And I met the similar conditions when I went there. And I found my work is transferred from there.
When you say similar, are you seeing frogs, snakes?
There were no frogs there, but jiggers. There was a great challenge of jiggers when I went there. Children were always, even the legs were being deformed by the jiggers. I don't know where they had come from, but when I went there, I found my work again of encouraging the teachers, encouraging the children and the parents.
And now is that different from the time you joined?
So when I went there, I took over to buy rice, and we connected with some people who were taking care of the jiggers, and they would give us medicine, and I would take the children and treat their legs with all that. And today, it is just the same like the other school. God came one day after encouraging and after praying with the children, praising God, and the school now is also changed. Their attires, the way you saw it there in the songs. And these songs, the videos were taken from that school, Mokorwe Primary School, and from, in a neighboring garden that is there. So you can see what
wow.
God has done.
Wow,
It's beautiful.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and children are really happy, and they perform well.
Yeah, and they dance.
And they children, and they dance. They like dancing. That's why I said I do not look for any other dancer. We will dance with them, and they enjoy it. And they are the best preachers also because they went and preached with those words, the songs in the churches, and they are encouraging their parents and others.
I'm looking at the challenges that you faced as you're trying to release all these songs. Just
yeah, the challenge. The challenge of finance.
It must have been challenging.
Yeah, it was a great challenge.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, from then I used just to go and teach the ones which were in the first album, the songs, and we could sing. But I was praying to God that He may give me financial breakthrough so that I will get a studio where I can record the other songs, because I have so many songs, only that they were not recorded.
Okay.
So I chose some of them which I wrote there in class. As I was teaching, my songs come through inspiration. When I'm teaching, I get inspiration. And according to the topic I'm teaching, especially in CRI, a song comes. And
so you get a song while standing in class?
When I'm studying in class and I'm teaching a lesson, and from that lesson, a song comes out. And to make it now be remembered, and to aid the memory of the children, I teach the song. And the children sing and they enjoy and they remember what they have heard. So that, and sometimes when I'm preaching, they come.
They come.
But the challenge of financing was great. Then I got some money from someone, a Vero Visa, and I was able to go and record the songs. And when I did that, the teachers supported me, and the runners, those pupils in school, they were excited about that. And so I asked them who was willing to dance, and all of them wanted to dance. But I had to choose a group. Yeah, I had to choose a group and promise them as more comes, they will get involved.
Everyone will get their own turn to dance.
Yeah, they will get their turn like that. So they are happy. And I enjoy working for the Lord, and I enjoy working for those children, because for me, teaching is a vocation. It is not just, it is also a call to uplift someone to be somebody and to reach a destiny.
Yes.
And I watch the children and I see them, I see what I can develop in them. The leaders, those who are singers, according to their talents.
So
I encourage.
What we are seeing on the screen there is...
that is Mokorwe Primary School.
All that is Mokorwe?
All that is Mokorwe Primary School.
I can imagine only how the pupils feel. Look at that.
They feel wonderful. And another challenge we had is to get the laptops. Because it was, you can see the bananas. It was full of bananas, and it was like a forgotten place. But when they started, when President started the program for the digitalization, and bringing the laptops, our school was among the first for the project.
Did you receive those laptops?
And I received them, and I was the one in charge of them, and I took time to train the children in class 1. We were wondering how will they get, but I realized that our children are great.
So how do those laptops get into this aspect of music? Were you using...
I was using them when I'm teaching them in lessons. Like every lesson, I would look for the important material there, and because in those laptops the lessons were put according to the subjects.
Okay.
So I would teach them using them, and they would run to type, and they were getting excited. That was now lifting even those who had low esteem to rise up and to believe in themselves.
I'm looking at how people sing nowadays, how music is sung nowadays. Yours is a bit different. The feel is different. And the song there, unasema kwamba Yesu ananipenda. And you're talking about going to heaven. And unajua siku moja naenda mbinguni. I could hear that message in that song.
It's true.
Yeah. Nowadays, we do not quite get that feel in some of our songs and the gospel songs and the content we get. Do you feel like we need to change something here or there? I'm looking at that particular song that you got, the revelation behind it. Sijui ulipata ufunuo aina gani hapo. Do we feel like nowadays we lack revelation when it comes to our music and our content?
Yeah, it's true. But it's a vocation, and it is God's given. As I told you, it is an inspiration. And God wanted to teach us that a good song will include God. Everything will include God, and will give people hope. A good song, not only for entertainment, but it will have the message from God. And it will also encourage people and give them hope, because nowadays, the way I see, people are so downcast. So many people are downcast. I meet so many people who are downcast, especially when I am giving guidance and counseling, and I find it doing it everywhere, especially with the parents and the children. And their stories are very touching. So when I sing this, I'm giving hope to people and encouraging them that it's not only this life we have. As God loves us, God himself loved us so much, he gave us his only son, Jesus, to die for us. And to give us hope, looking at what Jesus did, he did much to uplift the downcast, and also to encourage. And that's why he was just touching. And I like to feel the touch of Christ. And in my heart, when I feel it, I just wake up with a song.
It's all about God.
It's all about God who has given us this life. And I see myself also and others like the God's master plan. The God's master plan, that is a beautiful plan that no one can make. And whatever he starts, he will make it, he will bring it to an end and to fulfillment.
You've seen it with your own eyes, what God can do, how God can transform something.
I have seen what God can transform something from nothing to something. And I myself from nothing to something. And children from nothing to something. And I have high hope that this is not the end. Even if I die, I shall live. I shall live.
When you say that you've seen God transforming you from nothing to something, give me just a story behind that. What exactly? Give me that testimony.
When I look at my background, I see I was nothing. And people were confessing that nothing will come better from our home.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I refer to Jesus when people asked, can anything good come from Nazareth? And I remember those people saying, these people will never rise.
How was home?
Nothing will come, because we used to live, I was born in Getige, in Muranga. And when I was there, when we were young, we were nobodies in a way. That because we had a little grass thatched room. And I remember that time God somehow made me know himself, because I used to encourage our people when they were crying. Whenever it rained, it would drip. The water would drip in the house.
Inside the house?
Yeah, inside the house. And sometimes we were cooking, and there are these things, these worms stay in the grass. They would fall in the food.
You had, your roof was made of grass.
Poor. Yeah, we were so poor and almost to nothing. But God raised a standard for us. Because I saw how I can see, and I saw how we progressed from there. And when I went to the primary school, I had in mind that I would do something and I will become somebody. And I wanted people who are encouraging me, even teachers who are encouraging me and telling me, don't worry. Tomorrow will be better than today. And I used to like to go to school, to go and run, to change the situation in our home. And my father was a cashew worker in the garden. He was a farmer. He would go to people's land and work and get something for us to eat. My mother also. But God raised a standard for us, as I say. I have seen how we have progressed from there. And I saw myself going into secondary school, which they were saying I wouldn't go. And I wouldn't get money. God provides. He provided the money for me. He also helped me because I had one desire. I used to see, I was a Catholic by then, and I used to see the sisters working in the mission there, in Mogoiri mission. And those sisters would visit in even our home and encourage us. And I had a desire just to work for the Lord, because God gave me love for him when I was young. And I used to go to run to the church and to try to imitate preaching the other children. In the Sunday school, I would start and teach them and read the Bible for them. Until now, when I finished the secondary school, I was able, I prayed to God to help me become a sister, because I didn't see anybody else there. I knew there is a preacher in me. there is something.
There's something inside you that is burning.
That is moving, and that's why I like it so much. Wherever there are children, I go and read the Bible for them, teach them, encourage them when I was young. So I was praying to get that away to that place. So when I started for exam, I passed, and I was asking God to help me where to know. I asked the sisters, but I didn't like it to be in their place, in Mogoiri place. I didn't have a feeling of joining those sisters there. But with God's providence, the day I finished sitting for CPE, because I did CPE, I did not CPE, KCPE, ile sasa ilikuwa. Sasa nilipomaliza hiyo ya form 4, kulikuja sister, a good shepherd sister.
Akafanya nini?
And I liked the good shepherd. I saw God revealing himself to me as a good shepherd, protecting and caring and reading. And so when she came, she talked to us girls who are finishing, and she wanted to see whether there will be someone to join them. And as he talked, I could feel in myself that is really the work I want to do. That is the kind of a person I want to be.
To shepherd other people.
I want to shepherd other people as Jesus does. And so from there, I got the contact, and we talked with her and arranged, and I joined them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
see God leading me step by step.
And I love that. As God is leading you step by step, what are some of those steps that we should be expecting from you? Songs, albums, releases, those steps that we should be looking forward to?
In the songs, I don't understand that question.
Umesema kwamba Mungu anaenda kukuongoza.
Ananiongoza.
Anakuongoza. Na nimependa kitu umesema, anakuongoza.
Yeah, ananiongoza step by step kwa sababu kutoka nyumbani nikaomba na nikapewa ile ya kuingia kwa convent niwe preacher. Na nikapewa nafasi ya kupreach to the people. I used to go around to the stations and preach the word of God there and encourage them and even guide them where they needed the guidance. As a sister, I was also giving family guidance and counseling.
Sasa ukiangalia hizo steps ambazo Mungu amekuwezesha kufika mpaka leo, kuna steps aina gani ambazo unatarajia Mungu akuongoze? Mipango ambayo uko nazo, ambayo unatarajia, unapanga kutoa wimbo wengine, unapanga kufanya nini in future? Just kwa ufupi.
Nikiwa na songs na niko na hii preaching, I'm looking forward for a ministry.
Okay.
And I am praying that God will make it stand, because he has revealed to me the ministry that I should have.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mary. Asante sana kwa kukuja.
Yeah, and I encourage others to love God and to live as God wants.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
That is Mary Njeri, and that is what brings us to the end of this conversation right here. It has been a pleasure having you, Mary, na kutakia kila laheri.
Yeah.
Endelea na kazi ambayo unafanya mzuri sana.
Asante.
And of course, thank you so much to everybody that has been watching. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with more right here on Good Morning Kenya. Keep it KBC Channel 1.
Nashukuru.
And those ruins have to disappear right away.
Well, I'm not going to let that happen, Daddy. If you're really going to order to demolish those ruins, then you have no choice but to make the tractor run all over me.
Just accept it. Alonso is the boyfriend of Fabiola. With Marisol, I will see her as many times as I please.
I told you to shut up!
There's something so dark, something weird being hidden, and I honestly can't understand why he hides it. Your father has a right to have his own life, and you have no right whatsoever to meddle in it, Fabiola. Are you telling me that Dad ordered to tear down all the ruins of the old house and all that? Yes. Isn't that weird? I swear that sometimes I even think that the things I always hear other people say about my father those things are not true.
And how is my dear princess?
Daddy, you and I have to talk.
Why do you sound so serious? What's going on?
I want you to tell me about Tulio Irazabal.
Hey, listen up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Engine.
How do we hear? How do we see? What makes up the air we breathe?
Let's go, let's go.
It's technology.
Let's go, let's grow.
Science, you and me.
Let's go.
We're learning every day.
Let's go, let's grow.
Let's ask, let's learn, and let's love. And don't forget to make it fun.
Aren't you supposed to be in Australia?
I was scammed. The Australian job was a hoax.
What? Kuna kitu wanaficha na wataki kusema.
Kama nini inaendelea huko?
We need to talk. How bad is it?
You have no idea.
Why don't we tell Joel about it?
No, you're not going to tell Joel anything.
Okay.
Hizo hata ndo vitu zilifanya tukosane.
How about you give her a chance?
Mbona basi utaki kukua na mimi?
Not happening.
Come on. Hatukuhitaji.
Where are you going?
I was planning on helping him drink that. The poor guy looks like he can't handle his alcohol.
And who are you to save him?
Piggy!
Piggy? Piggy? Piggy, what's the matter?
Quick, come on! Where's the key? Key! Quick!
Is it here?
Hurry up!
Wait.
Why are you here?
Mr. Pai, I can explain this.
Did you hear all that?
Mbwembwe, shangwe, vifijo, and nderemo. All of those things mean what? Yes, maybe I think I understand.
Means you need a kamusi.
I don't speak Kizungu, yeah. Yes, it is February. Where's your boyfriend?
Kama ni manzi wa Nairobi amka uanze
Sasa unaanza kuningililia.
Ameambia mamanzi wa Nairobi peke yake. That means they had
Sasa mimi ni wa Nairobi, nilihama, nimekuja Nairobi.
Miss University, Miss Kenya, every miss that has ever been there, somewhere Leaky
is involved. He's leaking. He's leaking right there with it.
Imani juu toka chini si tunapaa, toka Kenya to Europa tunang'aa, na sasa kwake no place tunakaa, yo no place tunafaa.
Dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu, dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu, dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu, dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu. Mimi napenda Mungu hapana machezo. Nani? Hapana machezo. Mimi naimba, mimi namsifu. Na mabudu sifa zote kwake. Yendo Ebeneza, Alpha na Omega. Jina lake juu tunamuinua. Tunamuinua. Dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu, dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu, dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu, dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu.
Naruka juu kama Masai,
Ero kama Nogai, Arogosho malomalo.
Katika Kigosho, Willy Bumps, Odi Dance, Helicopter Kangaroo, Bazo Kizo, Enua Yesu juu, Enua Yesu juu. Transman brilliant.
Dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu, 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 dance katika, dance katika, katikia Yesu.
Okay. Do you get the mood? Do you get the feeling there? Thank you so much for sticking with us. This is still Good Morning Kenya. It is Entertainment Thursday. My name is Ram Aguko. It's a pleasure being with you, and you're just in time for the next conversation of the day. And of course, you've gotten a feel of him. This is Brian Omondi. Brian, karibu sana.
Yes, Auntie.
How are you feeling?
I'm just feeling good. Nasikia ile fit yani. Sijaipata chance kama hii bana.
Karibu.
Na thanks sana nini? Na thanks sana God kunipa hii chance bana.
Asante.
Kuna majamaa wengine huko slums. Wanataka hii chance lakini
Mungu amekupatia neema ya kufika hapa, si ndio?
Nashukuru sana.
And of course, even next to him, you've seen her there, Bridget Musomi. Karibu sana, Bridget.
Thank you so much.
How are you feeling?
I'm happy, in fact, to be here.
We thank God. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, even as we talk about what they're doing, one thing that has inspired me is the passion inside these kids. The passion inside of them. Brian, uko class?
Mimi siko class 8.
Class 8. Bridget?
The CBC grade 7.
CBC grade 7?
Yeah.
Which school?
Golden Bridge and AP Center Junior Secondary.
Okay. And?
Golden Bridge and AP Center.
Same school?
Yeah.
Oh, umekuja na director. I can see your director is in studio. That is, umesema director ama ni manager mani?
Director of music.
Director of music.
Yes.
Wow. Shout out to him, man. Anafanya kazi mzuri sana.
Yeah.
Hebu niambie experience yako imekuwaje kwa mambo ya ngoma na kuimba, Bridget? How is it?
Music is fun, although you do practice, because you say practice makes perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
As the way you do practice, now the music, you get the enjoyment. Yeah.
Do you love it? Do you love singing?
Of course. It's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Do you love?
Yes.
For you, is rapping or music?
Rapping.
Rapping.
Yeah.
When did you start loving rap?
Me, it was 2015.
Okay.
I had the song of Echo Dida that says that sleep, wake up, win. Repeat, sleep, wake up, win. So that man made me to think that if you try something, you will do it. So there's a song that I've released called I Can Do All Things Through Christ Who Strengthens Me. Here's the shot.
Wow. You can see that. I can do all things.
Yeah.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Philippians chapter 4 verse 13. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We have released the song with Bridget.
Yeah.
Are the both of you, are you born again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're born again?
Yeah.
You understand what salvation is?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, wow. At a very young age, you're getting into gospel music, you've gotten into salvation, you understand the scripture.
In fact, even we are not three of us, we are not two of us, but
yeah, it's a
group of many kids who love music. The one who have released this song called Dance Katika is in secondary school called Derek, and he's also my partner on music, and he also loves this music.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many are you there, Bridget?
Oh, we are many.
You're many?
Yes.
Who sing together?
Yes.
You should form like a group or something, like a band.
It's a group. It's a band. It's a Patoipa Bridge Band. Patoipa Bridge Band.
Ah. Yeah. That's the name of the band?
Yes.
Are you guys on social media?
No.
Simtengeneze account ya nini? Watu waanze kwa follow. We would like to see you guys trending.
Yeah.
Tuone kama TikTok videos, ndio? Huh? Wanasema dance katika. Na hiyo ndio ina trend. Dance katika challenge.
Yeah.
Ndio? Do me a freestyle.
Cheki, ati place tumetoka eti ndiyo faa, ilibidi God atubebe toka afa, imani juu toka chini si tunapa, toka Kenya to Europa tunang'aa, na sasa kwake ndo place tunakaa, yo ndo place tunakaa. Dance katika dance katikia Yesu, dance dance katikia Yesu. Mimi napenda Mungu, hapana machezo. Nani? Hapana machezo. Mimi naimba, mimi namsifu na mabudu, sifa zote kwake, yendo Ebeneza, Alfa na Omega, jina lake juu tunamuinua, tunamuinua.
Tungekuwa na ka DJ, tungekuwa na kale ka trumpet. Bridget,
yeah.
Who are some of those people that have mentored you to, get to the level where you are today, to love music, to pursue your dreams?
At first, I'll start by thanking my director. This is Director Dennis of music. He supported me and made me to know more about music. At first, before we started music, we were doing musical instruments, somehow keyboard, guitars. We were practicing. And I'll also thank the group of Patoipa Bridge Band, that is our sponsors. We have sponsors who facilitate and help us on the program of this group, because in such the talents that we have, we thank God, because to get this opportunity is not that easy. We say thank you. On the person who made me to say that music is very, very good and you enjoy is Masi Masika.
Because you must enjoy your music.
Yeah.
You must enjoy what you sing. Masi Masika.
Yeah.
Okay.
Masi Masika is a person who sings songs, gospel songs.
Yeah.
From the moment that I started singing, I saw that singing is very good and also you praise God. Because God likes the things that you do, the things that He likes. Now from the things that you do, God is praised. And
God is praised.
Yeah.
Amen.
God says that you are lifting him up, and that's what God wants. And on what as we do, we say thank you to God, because where we are is by God.
By God. Oh, okay, I'm touched. Brayo, for you, those people that have helped you, nurtured you, held your hand, and supported you in your music?
Yeah. First of all, I thank my director, Mr. Joshua, and our director of music, Mr. Dennis, for supporting me in music, and not only music, even media club.
Oh, you're in media club?
Yeah, we always do media at our school. And the team of Patoipa Bridge Band, Patoipa, they are the people who have good hearts. And last year they came to our school, and the person who came was my sponsor, Ma'am Heidi. He came and talked to us and encouraged us that the music we are doing is good. And this music, you do it with passion. When you do music, don't do music when you're looking your friend is doing this. The music that people are doing now, the boys at slums, they're doing bad music that can't help them. But now, if you do gospel music can take you somewhere. And even people love gospel.
It's something that has a future.
Yes.
Yeah, and it does not fade. Haiwezi sema that inaishiwa na
test. Yeah, ishiwa na test. Kwa sababu
not expire.
Watu wengi,
yeah, it does not expire. Thank you, Bridget.
Watu wengi wanaipenda kwa sababu ukiimba gospel inakubring close to God. Advice yenye tunapewa shule ni read your Bible, pray when you wake up early in the morning before you come to school. And for me, as being a musician, it was not just I wake up and I start singing.
It's something that you take time.
Yes, you try to do it.
Thank you, Brian. I want us to take a break and then tutarudi hapa hivi, and then we'll continue talking about your music. Bridget, I want you to sing for me also.
Okay.
Let's take that break. We'll be back with more right here on Good Morning Kenya.
I am alive.
that is still a song by these fantastic young ones. Umesema that hiyo wimbo ndio mlitoa pamoja pia bado?
But sisi hatukuwa hapo.
Oh, okay.
Hiyo ni ingine.
But for the group that you are in, your group yenu bado. Oh, so we are seeing that this group is growing. We are getting people are joining the group.
Yeah.
Ni kitu yenye open.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Patoipa Bridge Band, they come together and see what we're doing and join us to provide for us. Somehow, in fact, in 2025 February, we're going to have a project of giving out mattresses to the home. In fact, not music and media are the people who are supported. Even the children who are learning in the school, they are also supported by maybe their families. They are needy. They are
not financially stable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they come together, help them, make them to have homes, maybe households and food. So they get also to know more about their talents.
It's like some form of charity also. You're giving back to the community. Okay, okay. I love that. And where is this institution? Where are you based? Where are you found?
At Kayole. Embakasi at Kayole. Mulika Mwizi.
Najua huko?
Yeah.
Najua huko? Nitawatembelea siku moja. Bridget, as I said that I'd like you to sing me a song.
Yeah.
Do you have something in mind?
Yes.
Go for it.
Kwako niko salama, kwako Mungu nimehifadhiwa, kwako niko salama, kwako Mungu nimehifadhiwa.
Wow. Wow. Do you guys help each other in terms of composing all these songs? They're good songs. How do you compose the songs, the lyrics, the rap, the stanzas, the choruses?
Yeah, our teacher we have our teacher for music. So he always teaches, and the chorus he writes for us, and we master them so that girls, ladies practice vocals, as you have heard, vocals, so that they may have good sound for producing the good voice.
Good voice. And the men?
Like the men? Bass.
Bass.
Yeah.
Brafam kuna choir?
Yeah, we have choir.
We have the choir.
You have a choir?
Yes. We have a school choir.
Wow. Wow. I love the organization. So the teachers, the music teacher helps you.
Yes.
So gives you your voices, you practice the songs, and then you go to studio and you release the same song you practiced.
Yes. We may also
write for ourselves.
Then we go to the teacher, help us to understand more and more. Maybe to tell us this is wrong, this is right. Then we may get a good song.
So you also write your own music?
Yeah.
Have you? Andika? Verse? Unaikanga verse? Mistari?
Yeah.
How do you write? For some people, watu wengine wanalala usiku alafu inakuja.
Hauwezi lala usiku ikuje.
Somehow when
hiyo ni uongo.
Hiyo ni uongo?
Hiyo ni uongo. Utalalaje mistari zikuje usiku? Hiyo ni uongo.
Kwa siku ndoto?
No.
Mistari unajiandikia.
And somehow maybe when you read the Bible.
Wacha nisikie Bridget kwanza alafu nikuja kwa mistari. Unasema somehow in the Bible?
Somehow when you read the Bible, like the verse of when Brian said Philippians chapter 4 verse 13.
Yes.
When you read that verse, there is something that comes into your mind and say, yes, I can compose a song about this verse. And that's how it is. You can't just dream and wake up and say, I'm going to sing. It's not like that.
Ati Yesu.
Yesu amuke. Tuna dream kitu alafu nini. Music unakaa tu chini tu vizuri. Ukitafuta tu chorus yako mzuri yenye moniko best. You start making this song.
Okay.
And even the challenges that you face, you can find somehow the challenges that you face at home or in school. You may compose a song, and that's how it is.
I love how the conversation is going. Okay, let's talk about that aspect also. I was coming there. Challenges that you're facing when you're producing songs, coming up with songs, and releasing them, even going for video shoots.
At first,
mention a few.
We say that we have bad friends and good friends. Okay. When you have good friends, are friends that advise you and give you motivation on more for the passion you have in music. Like me, to me, I have bad friends and good friends. For the bad friends, they don't believe in what you do. They say that on what you do, you can't be famous. What you're doing, it cannot bring more motivation to you.
Do you want to be famous?
Yeah, I want to be famous.
Okay.
And they say that what you do is not good. So you get that chance and say that God, you pray to God, and God gives you courage, strength to move on what you do. So the challenges are when your friends are talking to you badly, you just hear wanakusengenya on what you do.
Na wanasema nini?
They say
wanasema tu like unajifanya, yani kujipendekeza hiyo.
Ati unajua kuimba na hata hujui.
Unajua kuna kitu kingine nasemanga. Hata kama ukioko class, kuna kitu nauliza. Nasemanga utauliza ni ujinga. Na kama mtu hawezi uliza kitu,
utaelewa vipi?
Utaelewa vipi? Mtu anakucheka. Na wewe hiyo kitu yenye unafanya na kubenefit na something.
Na hata labda ajui.
Ajui. Sasa atajuaje?
My God. Atajuaje?
Atajuaje? Haizi joke sababu. Anaona akifanya haimsaidii. Lakini kuna wale watu wenye wakifanya ndio inamsaidia. Juu kama music, sasa ukiendelea hivi, bila tunaendelea kuimba hivi gospel, maybe you'll get something. Na tuseme uplift your family. From the poor ground mpaka mwaleta juu, na ni music tumekusaidia. Lakini bila music, bila masomo hakuna kitu. So focus kwa vitu mbili. Kama ni masomo, unaongeza, unasoma zaidi. In terms of holidays, ndio unafanya nini? Music.
You balance. Na manage to balance so far, because you cannot have music without skill.
As how you know today's school, so the time that we're using to be here is the time that in school we have music club. So that's why we had an opportunity to come here.
Sasa kama ulikuwa unauliza watoto wanafaa kuwa shuleni. This is the time that you have music.
Yeah.
But there are those people that have encouraged you. I love that fact. Umesema kuna wale wanao encourage na kuna wale wanao discourage. Na mnasikiza wale wanao encourage zaidi.
Wale nyo wanakudiscourage. Unaachana nao, wataongea, watalala, wataamka asubuhi tu bado wataendelea hivyo. Na wakiendelea kukua hivyo, they will be fools.
And some of them who they talk about you, they don't know their talents.
They don't know.
Kuna mtu amekaa tu mahali na ajui talent yake. Na kikuona na kucheka kenye unafanya na inakusaidia.
So they don't believe in what you do.
But you have people who believe in what you do. Yeah? Like, for mimi najiongeza kwa hiyo category. I also believe in what you do. I love the spirit that is in you. Who are those people that you look up to in terms of music? Wale ambao unaangalia unasema I want to sing like so and so. Do you have also such icons that you look up to, Bridget?
Yes. I look at Masika. How they sing. She has power over singing. And that's how I followed her on how she sings. She never gives up. And that's how it is.
Mercy Masika.
Yes.
If you met her today, what you do tell her?
It's over.
It's over.
Lord of Silver.
Who is your mentor, the person you are looking up to?
Me.
Mercy Masika bado ama kuna mwingine?
Si Ekodida and nani mwingine? Venye nimemsahau jina.
But Ekodida. So nataka bado mnijibu hiyo swali. If you met Mercy Masika leo, ungemwambia nini? If you met Ekodida, ungemwambia nini? Let me start with you, Bridget. If you met Mercy Masika, if she walked into studio right now and she came here, what would you tell her?
Oh, she sings so well. And I would like to know the steps of, even me, I have steps, but I would like to know the steps that she uses in music. How she composes songs to teach me more, to know more about music.
Okay. If you met Ekodida, amengeta hapa saizi akisema
tumefika. Mimi sasa akikuja tu. Kitu ya kwanza unafurahi kwanza juu hii chance kumuona
ni process.
Kumuona anza kimbiga pali yako saa hii, unajua nasikia fiti. Sasa hivi mimi akikuja tu hapa, saa hii akikuja hapa, kitu ya kwanza ndamwambia hiyo passion yenye anaekanga kwa music ni mzuri. Juu huku nje hata wale watoto wake I'm blessed na keep it real. Au wanajuanga kuimba na sasa mimi nilifollow hii example. Na mi ni umpende tu jia hiyo hype yake.
Akiingia pale una feel ameingia.
Venye huwa hype akiingia tu kwa stage hivi igwe na mtu ana bow down. Jamaa ako talented ba.
Ako talented. Now let's talk about your talent. Hii ni ngoma gani hapa yenye tunaona kwa TV hapo?
Hii ni Form ni Christ. Ni Form ni Christ. Tuli-release na Derek na Buve.
Form ni Christ. Hiyo ni ambayo iko hapa hivi. Okay. Inaongelelea nini?
Form ni Christ inamaanisha kile kitu yenye unafanya. Mungu tu peke yake. Christ peke yake.
Okay.
Christ is the only one. Yani hakuna mtu mwingine mwenye anaweza kukufanyia kitu yenye hautawaisahau. But Christ hata ukiwa umesin, si unaendanga kwa Mungu, unamwomba, si anakusamea. So Form ni Christ. Hizi vitu za worship idols, hizi mambo za drugs, kuvuta bangi hizo. Ufai, si tulitoa hiyo ngoma tuki-encourage mavijana huku kwa streets waachane na mabangi. Hata Steve Simple Boy pia si alitoa ngoma ya vijana tuache miadarati. Alikuwa anamaanisha kitu.
Because where you're situated at Kayole, pia kuna that bad
watu
una influence
huko.
Si ndio?
Huko hata ifike tu ni saa moja tu pite tu mahali kuna giza. Wewe kuisha. Wanakumaliza la kwa.
Naona Bridget is shaking her head anasema
True.
Huko ni kubaya.
True. Why? Umeona nini?
Mimi nimeona mtu anapigwa nyongo la asubuhi.
You've seen what?
I've seen that kulikuwa na classmate wetu that akona brother mkubwa. So alikuwa ameenda kwa brother yake mwingine. So there is a family that wako brothers wengi. So you visit your brother, then you go back home. When you go back home, you find that, Kayole is dangerous. So when you go there, you find that the gate is closed of your plot. So they decided to kill him because he was at the gate. The gate is closed.
You saw?
Yes. In the morning.
Uliona na macho?
Na macho.
Huko ni kubaya. Huko. Kitu kwamba ukuje huko.
And you're saying you will not allow that environment to dictate who you are. Unajidefine wewe mwenyewe.
Sitaki kujua.
Unajua hataki kujiingiza kwa hizo vitu unajua. Mimi saa hii kuna kijana anatushana na mimi anatumia drugs. anaitwa Fellow. Jana walienda kuiba, akakutwa wenzake wakauliwa. Na yeye unajua alienda kushikwa, akakimbia akapanda gari akaenda ushago. Tena akarudi.
He is no longer there.
Si yako. But marafiki zake wameenda.
We are praying that they change.
Watabadilika tu.
Watabadilika. Life will change, and mumesema vizuri that God can change things. I love that. Umesema God can change things, and because God can change things, he can change people.
Yes.
The way he has transformed you to be where you are today. Sindio? Huh? Nataka ubonge na your fellow youths, those who are watching you today. So you can a piece of advice uambie from where you sit, Bridget. Advice gani unaweza ambia your fellow girls watching you today, your fellow youths and young people watching you today? Advice too.
From anyone who is watching me, I like to advise him or her that if you have advice, if you have a talent, don't keep it. Even if you know that you can sing, have that power on singing, and make out and walk, talk to people, and you may get chance to sing. Even if you don't know your talent, try this, you may get your talent.
You may get your talent.
And in everything that you do, put God first.
Put God first. Yes. I'm glad you discovered your talent. Kama hujui talent yako ni nini, you can still find it. Ndio. Brian? Talk to your fellow boys watching you today. Youths, una advice nini? Unajitayarisha kwa kiti.
Wale boys wako huko nje, wazazi, kila mtu. Nawaambia God is there. Na hakuna kitu mzuri kama Mungu akitokea kwa maisha yako kubariki. Na mimi na big up watu wenye wako kwa shule yetu Golden Bridge. Na big up teacher our director Joshua, teacher JB, my fellow learners na watu wengine na wasanii wengine wenye wako hapa nje. Nawaambia hii chance muitumie vizuri, muimbe gospel. Kama sasa gengeton nimetolewa. Gengeton ni mbaya kwa sababu inakufanya una think vitu zenye hata haziko real.
All right. Nataka niopate chance. Freestyle. Okay? Freestyle ingine. Tukimalizia, si ndio? We are done with this part.
First, before that, please give me a chance to thank people who give me advice.
Okay.
Me.
Okay.
First, I'd like to thank my mom, Emily. She is at home. Saying thank you because she used to advise me, give me that courage to continue my music. And also my director, Joshua, in our school at Golden Bridge and AF Center. All right. He provides for us, cares about us, and also we have a boarding in our school. So we escape Kayole because of the dangerous things that happens there. Saying thank you for him because he talked through our sponsors to start the program.
Thanks to all of them. And all those who are supporting this young crew. Mungu awabariki sana.
And thank you to our mom Irene in MDH. That is Mama Dan home.
Tukimalizia, and I want to say it has been a pleasure being with you. Let me wrap the show on my end saying this has been Good Morning Kenya. It has been a pleasure being with you. Entertainment Thursday is always a very nice time to kickstart your morning right here on KBC Channel 1. My name is Ram Maguko. It has been a pleasure being with you. A big thanks to Brian, a big thanks to Bridget and their whole community ambayo imewasaidia kwa kuza, helping them to get to where they are. As we bring Good Morning Kenya to a close, we finish the show with a freestyle from Brian.
Yeah. Tuanze.
Anza.
Yeah. Form za anasa nilitokanga keuti, wakidunga koti miudunganga masuti. Form za madhami nilipiganga mabuti, juu Krista alishadai kwa cross. Bogi ni jamo na ni ya Yesu tu, na yendo tunangoja yule aliye juu. Moka ni jamo ya kumsifu tu, na tuko roho juu, shetani utadu. Vita ni za kiroho, hapa kuna cha matrick, na tukiro na Yesu itabaki wameti. Jajaji wako rada hizo shada bado zi, jajaji wako rada hizo shada bado. Ati form ni Christ, ni mulungu tu, ni mulungu tu. zingine azidai. Nimekataa. Z.
Maisha ni mafupi, hivyo si vyema kumaliza muda mwingi